Hello, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to everyone who's out there all across the world, and welcome back to episode 7 of Fire in the Dark. Today we are once more joined by our wonderful crew of scoundrels. We are down one Rue this time, so one Crow. Silas/Crow is off doing the teaching assistant thing as per the usual for the character. It is for the sake of Crow, it is final season. And so while Archie doesn't have a lot of work, Crow does because tutoring and review sessions are in the realm of the TA, speaking as a former 2-year TA myself. We are down. However, what's actually happening is that Rue is GMing a charity stream over on twitch.tv/justthehuman, raising money for the National Network of Abortion Funds. So if you have a couple of spare dollars or want to just go give general support and want to go support our wonderful Whisper, then head on over. You can also check out Just a Human on Twitch. And the name of the fundraising event is Rolling for Reproductive Rights. In the wake of things, and this is as political as I'm going to get on this show, but in the wake of things happening in the Supreme Court and all across the world, and for the sake of those individuals who have the capability of bearing a child and are often have that choice forced upon them, I personally implore you to go out there and give what you can and do what you can. I know that to a certain extent, there are plenty of people who it is not physically capable for them to protest. It is not mentally capable for them to protest, or it is not financially safe for them to give money. But even just the little things you can do, sharing a tweet, supporting your friends who need it, that all helps. So if you want to go and give some support and watch people roll some dice for reproductive rights, go give Rue and the crew over on Just the Humans channel some support. I don't know if they've started yet. I think they're starting a little bit later than us, but it does overlap, which is why we don't have Rue. But again, that is all I'm going to say on the matter. But I am, as ever, joined by our wonderful crew of scoundrels. I am Jaimie Wolfe. I am your GM and your generally all the NPCs, both villainous and friendly, in the city of Duskfall. And I am joined by, starting with Parker.
Hi, I'm Parker. I'm playing Asher, Spectre, Claw. Both of us use she, they pronouns.
And John.
Hello, I am John Downey, and I will be playing, as always, Mort the Mouth Morrison, your favorite big, scary baker boy.
And Cole.
Hello, I am Cole. I will be playing Tristero Wax Valentine, your absolute disaster of a spider who is the living embodiment of being bad at math. And both of our pronouns are he, him, they, them. And yeah, excited for another run.
And my pronouns, as many know at this point, are they, them. But I'm going to say them again anyway. So when last we left our rather explosive episode, our crew was joined by a character played by our lovely producer, Brandon Ashenworks. Wick, the explosive expert of the damned, and using Wick's expertise and his employment in this matter, the crew of the Murmur Venture Project was able to steal some vials of pyro and literally bring the building down on a small pyro distribution center just off of the basically just in kind of the lower district of Night Market. Now the Ink Rake papers are flooded with tales of this building's not explosion but collapse. This was a sabotage project, one that got away, and in the underworld circles everyone knows who was responsible, but as far as the papers are aware, this was an old building that fell in on itself, which is why the Ministry of Preservation doesn't hate you more than they already do after that. But suffice to say, this is where we set our scene, and where we are picking up is once more, dear fellows, on our boat, on our ship that has been shifted again. As ever, the boat, it gets moved usually between jobs just for the sake of safety, but it tends to stick its way near the borders of Charter Hall. this time we are kind of finding ourselves closer to the little border between Crowsfoot and Charter Hall. And our crew, we have Asher, aka Spectre, in the rafters with a cup of coffee in her hand, looking maybe a little tired. It's kind of arguable whether or not she spent a long night out rolling the tables or rolling around in bed with Helene. But, you know, one way or the other, she's had a bit of she still looks a little stressed, like she could go for another round in the tables. But, you know, she's doing her best. She's got her coffee. Just underneath her in his usual chair, kind of combing his mutton chops and fixing his hair, is now a very luscious, very long, very incredibly healthy looking hair is Mort. Pretty just kind of just chilling there after he's finished combing. Takes very good care of that comb that he got from some spooky sisters. Unsure what would happen if anything ever happened to that comb, but for now, using it has made his hair the healthiest it's ever been in his life. And just across from them, kind of studying a map and a variety of notes that he recently acquired at the table, is Tristero. And Tristero's kind of reviewing these notes that he was looking over with Archie at the end of last session. The penultimate kind of come to the culmination of finding what is the heart of pyro distribution in Duskfall, in all of Duskfall, finding that kind of that keystone point. Now, Archie is not here yet, but as they're kind of setting their scene, a figure walks up the gangplank. This figure, it's not hard for you and your crew to tell that it is Archie. As far as disguises go, especially in the case of Asher and Tristero, it's actually not the worst you've ever seen. He's gotten himself a trench coat and a fedora, and he's got like a fake mustache that goes into like a goatee that hangs down to like about his Adam's apple. And honestly, it matches his hair color, so that's a plus. And like everything he's got like fits in terms of like being fitted to his body. So again, in terms of disguise, it like isn't the worst. However, unfortunately, the mustache is a little too big for his lip size, and the adhesive he might have used doesn't seem to have put on quite right, and it's a little crooked. Also, he apparently was trying to go for without his glasses, and then you get the sense that he ran into something because he's got a slight bruise like on his cheek and had to put his glasses back on. So it kind of is still very distinctly Archie, but he kind of comes in holding this kind of paper box and kind of doing a very affected voice of delivery, I've got some lovely pastries for you here on account of one Professor Dalmore the Fourth. I've got some nice raspberry beignets. Yes.
I'll open the door at the raspberry beignets.
What the hell is going on?
Oh gods. Why?
Yes. I'm here to deliver raspberry beignets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds incredible. What did someone order this? Did you guys order this?
I'm going to.
You're going to what?
Close the door. Just
close the door.
Just save us time. We're just going to close the door and just be like, we do not know them. We do not know them.
Wait. There's like a knock at the door again. Wait. No, hold on. There's raspberry beignets, please.
Here's the thing. I do like the idea of the beignets, though. Is there
open the door again.
Is there a middle ground? Okay, great. All right.
We'll be fine.
Look, hey, let's deliver the beignets. And then he pulls off the fake just it was me, Archie.
Whoa, Archie. Look at this.
Mort, don't encourage him.
Don't encourage him. Don't do it.
I had no idea he had a voice and everything. Was it not good? I felt like that was pretty good.
I've been taking your lessons to heart, is the thing, and doing my best to try to practice disguises and affections of the voice, and like I've made sure that I've been moving the boat regularly so that we stay not in one place. Contact with any individuals has been through dead drops. I've been making sure that any meetings that I had are had off-site.
So proud of you, Archie. So proud of you. I'm gonna provide some recommendations later to maybe spruce up your disguise a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Absolutely. I adore. I adore. Of course, feedback and criticism is the lifeblood of academia, and so I'm no stranger to it, as they say. And this is he seems very excitable right now. Of the like this is a new skill, a new venture. It's not pure academia, but it is learning and the like.
In the
and
middle
so
of this,
I
as he's
thrive.
rambling, I'm gonna go take the box from him and start eating.
Also, while he's rambling, I'm going to take his mustache and adjust it and fix it to where it's straight.
Well, he took it off. Remember when he revealed himself is the thing. So he's actually holding it in his hand right now, and it actually appears to have stuck to his hand, so that if he were to do this, he would have a puppet on his hand that could talk. Not on purpose.
Hell
That's just
yeah.
where it ended up. Is the thing. And actually, as he's gesticulating and moving his hand, because he's very hands when he talks, you can actually see it almost like it's another talking person next to him. It's very distracting for Spectre.
For the record, Asher does climb down, go up to him, rip off that mustache off his hand, and kind of walks away, grabs a beignet, and later starts to try to trim it using a knife. So,
Okay, so but back in the rafters, you just see Asher's like, all right, well, we're getting rid of the curly handlebars because that's out of style for 3 seasons, and then we're going to, and also stands out way too much. It's a little too large.
yeah.
And just right. Anyway, suffice to say, my ventures into dress and the like do have a purpose, but we'll get to that in a moment. First things first. What I would like to say is I want to express my gratitude to each of you for what we've been able to accomplish here. I noticed Crow is not here.
They
Oh, I just
had to-
always kind of assumed that I just can't see them when we first had these meetings, but I guess that's fair.
Can confirm Crow's not up in the rafters today.
Right. Okay. Well, perhaps...
Z had some extra work he had to do, and just kind of happens.
Right.
We have a
Sure.
life outside of crime. You know that, right?
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Right. I know that. I'm kind of off right now because it's final season, and I actually wrote my final about 3 weeks ago, so that in case any students came to me needing disability accommodations, I could make adjustments and times and things like that. So I had everything kind of planned out, so that everything was written ahead of time. And since everything's written ahead of time, and I've already talked to all the students that needed accommodations to make the accommodations, I'm free right now. Everything's on my TAs for reviews and study sessions and things like that. Then honestly, I don't even need to be there for the actual final. That will be adjudicated by the TAs. They'll be because they just have to sit there and make sure no one's cheating, kind of a thing. And so
It seems maybe you're a little bored even with all of the prep work you did.
No,
you're
I
kind
keep
of diving into a lot of other hobbies, it seems.
Well, I've been keeping myself busy, with the chemical studies as I is wont to do. I've been working on another dissertation and the like for funding. And you know what? Never mind. Anyway, let's move on. What I was trying to say is I was trying to express my gratitude to each of you for what we've accomplished here. We are at the precipice of finishing what I initially wanted when I set out on this, which was to try to get pyro off the streets. And it is irresponsible to believe that it will ever totally disappear. But thanks to our lovely Tristero, and he gestures over to Tristero, we now know where the heart of their distribution center is the thing. And we're able to strike at hell's heart, doth we strike at them. But not without proper preparation. we'll get into that also in a second here. Which means that the whole purpose of this is, my purpose in this at least, is going to be coming to an end soon. And don't get me wrong, we've made quite a bit of coin along the way. But when all is said and done, I was never in this for the money. I'm fairly fine as I am. So when we're done here, I will probably be handing the Murmur Venture Project off in its entirety to you people.
That sounds, Archie, like you want to join the group. Do you want to come with us on our next like heist or something like that? Kind of further.
We'll get to that. Just hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Trying to be sentimental.
The professor, tired of the life of academia and education, turns to a life of crime for the next. That sounds like a novel.
And there's a novel I might write, actually. Could be of great interest to me. Now, don't get me wrong. This venture has been.
You're just picking up hobby after hobby. No, I love it for you. I really do.
I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. Except that's not true because I am a master of chemistry. And also esoteric mathematics, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, speaking of writing, have you looked over Wick's edits? I actually want to see what those are like.
I have looked over Wick's edits. He is very critical. However, he gives remarkable insight from a place that I don't have, which is to say that he really does seem to be something of a master in the esoteric chemistry. And while esoteric mathematics is my specialty, he kind of has a great grasp of the alignment between esoteric chemistry and sparkcraft, and it has actually provided me new insights for my next venture that I might be working on. So I'm actually quite thankful for the redlining, as disheartening as it was to read. Anyway,
if it's regardless, though.
Yeah. Regardless, what I'm trying to say is, once this is all said and done, crime was never my passion. It's not really a thing that I'm here for, and to that end, passing off the Murmur Venture Project to you lot in its entirety once we're finished will be kind of my passing the torch, so that I can maybe go back to the life that I had before all this started, which is kind of what I would like, to say the least. And don't get me wrong.
You don't want to work with us. Is that what you're saying here? You haven't enjoyed our presence in your lives.
I have learned so much from you, and I have enjoyed getting to know each and every one of you, truly. You have been a light and a joy. However, a life of crime is not for me. I have honestly grown more gray hairs in the last couple of months of knowing you than I have in my entire lifetime up to this point. My anxiety and disposition does not lend itself well to this, and frankly, I think Anya is starting to get a little bit worried about me. But that doesn't mean I intend to abandon you entirely, of course. If you ever need anything from me, my door will always be open. But when it comes to the end of things, passing it off the torch, so the entirety of production, distribution, and things will be on yours to make the coin what you will, because that's what, as far as I understand, you thought do. But I do genuinely appreciate it. But to that end, let's talk a little bit. So, as stated, Tristero, with a little bit of my help, but honestly, mostly his own ingenuity, insight, and research, has found the heart of the Pyro Distribution Center. And to that end, however, if we're going to strike at them, we need to be reasonably well prepared. And in the interest of being reasonably well prepared, I want you all to make it through to the other side of this as physically intact as possible. And so, given that we will be going up against a large group of
pyromancers,
fire-wielding and fire-capable individuals, I think our best bet is to get our hands on a potent fire repellent. Now, me being the rather capable chemist that I am, I could probably come up with one with several weeks to months of research and funding and the like. That is not an amount of time that I think any of us are really willing to wait. To that end, however, I have friends and contacts in the Ministry of Preservation, and it's come to my attention there that they have had something of a recent breakthrough in developing their own fire repellent. Which is unsurprising, given the slew of the firebugs and the destruction they've been causing, that they would be working on something of that nature. To that end, I don't necessarily want you to steal the whole formula wholesale, which is to say, because I'd rather prefer that the Ministry of Preservation keep the formula that they are going to use to help keep buildings and people safe. Rather, I need you to steal go make a copy of the formula so that I can use it to make us fire repellent that I can use for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But
Go
also,
and make
new
a
product.
copy of something that none of us probably have any understanding of, and bring it to you.
Right. I mean, you just have to write it down, really. You don't have to understand it to write it down.
I hope not.
Honestly, if they've so here's the other thing with that, though. Here's the other thing with that is the Ministry of Preservation, being what it is, as a potent entity of political power in all of Duskfall. I don't think we really want to rock the boat that much. So my ask of you is to keep this as physically quiet as possible, like to the point that no one knows that this has happened, kind of thing. Like to the end of game mechanics, like you would not get reputation for this because the hope would be that no one knows it even happened, kind of a thing. Is the idea. And to that end, to help in that endeavor, this is kind of why I did the whole disguise thing, and at a base level, I have documents that get us in the front door of the Ministry of Preservation.
Oh.
Because of my, I've served as a consultant over the years for them as a chemist and a mathematician for their archaeological and infrastructure planning is the thing. So they have I have a rapport with them to some degree, and I can use those credentials to help get us, again, in the front door, not into, say, the labs or anything like that, but I can get us inside. So maybe I do want to come with you, just for one last run, kind of a thing. But, I don't know how useful I am. That's why I was practicing the disguise stuff and all of that. So,
I have no notes, personally.
I just made some edits to your mustache. That's all. It's a little big for your face. That's just so that it was a little off-putting, but I fixed it.
The goatee does not look believable. Also, we can get you different frames for your glasses so they're not the exact same thing.
Yeah, that
like you have a shiner, right here.
I've got some makeup that'll fix that, but I just
that's
not
fair.
a good disguise. I mean, how many people saw you with a shiner when you worked there? You know what I mean?
Well, given that this happened incredibly recently, and my history with the Ministry of Preservation is, a few years hence, probably not.
Wait. I think it would be great to have your credentials in order to get us in the door.
Yes.
My concern is how good of a poker face you can pull up, and we also need to corroborate some kind of pitch to keep us in the door, and then explain why any one of us could disappear at one time.
Mm-hmm. I need a reason to be able to disappear.
Mm-hmm. That's valid. That's fair. I mean, again, I can. This is your realm more than mine, but I do
But
have
you
the
want to come
credentials
with
to.
us?
Yes, I do. I want to try a little bit, even if it's just like the bear spit, even if it's getting you in the door and then being in the lobby talking to the secretary as a distraction or something. It's just like I.
Okay.
Very nice.
It's
Very
very
nice that you want to
nice.
spend more time with us.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's a Archie, I'm saying this all the love and care and consideration in my heart. It's a huge risk that you are coming with us. You will be very useful in that case.
Yes. Well, that's kind of also the other reason I was like, maybe we keep this literally as quiet as possible, is because if I go with you, I don't. I'm trying to
Exactly.
have a quiet life after things. So
Listen, if anything breaks bad, you say whatever you need to. Throw us under the bus. We conned you. We were threatening on you. We were doing something to make you have us go in the door.
I don't know if all that is. Do we?
We'll be
On the
fine.
off
We will be
chance.
fine. Archie, it won't come down to that.
It
Don't
will
you
not come
worry.
down to it. But on
And-
the off chance.
And no crow. Kind of looks
No,
at the
no,
rafters
we
again.
did.
Oh.
No,
No.
Crow's working on something else right now.
Are
so.
we sure though? Are you positive?
I am
that-
absolutely sure Crow is busy.
Okay. I was still thinking like maybe
Nah.
Crow is here somewhere. Okay.
Just
All right.
me
Fair.
making noise up here this time.
No.
Got it.
No. Right. No. And I think at least as far as I
Wait,
know,
do you prefer Crow over the rest of us? Is that what you were hoping?
No, not even a little. It's just like, more hands in the pot. More hands in the pot kind of a thing.
Because it kind of seemed like you were were
No.
favoring.
Honestly, I love you all, and you all scare me to death. But
Even me, Archie.
oh, especially you.
Thank you.
Asher, to be
Wait,
fair, I
what do you
think
mean?
you're terrifying. You can be terrifying if you want to. You choose not to be.
Thank you.
Mort, you are the size of a small bull, and I'm pretty sure that if you went like this, my head would go pop like a zit.
Like a cute bull though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like a little-
You're the
cute,
cutest
like
bull, Mort.
a cute baking bull.
That's one of the nicest things anyone's ever said to me. Thank you.
Tristero's mind is as convoluted as my own, and as anxious, but puts it more towards crime than anything, and honestly, that also scares me. And then Spectre, I'm pretty sure if I blinked wrong at you, I would lose my house, my savings, and my wife to you. So
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Anya's very pretty. You did well.
Yeah.
And smart.
Mhm.
Handsome couple.
Yeah.
She's a lovely woman. I'm very grateful. I'm very happy.
And for that reason, we're gonna make sure nothing bad happens to you.
Yes. All right. So yes, to that end, so we will be traversing into the Ministry of Preservation's. For good measure, at least it's not the main headquarters. We will be traversing into the Ministry of Preservation's Research and Infrastructure Facility in Brightstone. So, the really high-end, noble people and the like. So maybe, I don't know, dress the best you did, like when you went to Helene's. Actually, honestly, I guess he kind of like holds the mustache that you've given back to him, Asher, and he's like, at the end of this, I'm really not the one that needs the disguise, am I? It's kind of the rest of you. But who's to say? And he kind of like puts it in his pocket of the trench coat. Right. Anyway, questions, concerns, problems, and the like from you. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking very frantically.
As it happens, yes. But just to double check, these papers, if I went into the ministry and pulled just a random pile of paperwork for identification, the writing on here would be the exact same. Is that right? These are your papers. These are your papers from the ministry in order to get you into the door. Like
yes,
ID pass, all that.
It's an ID pass. It's all that. It is the main thing about it is that it has been signed by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Preservation, and then it has, and he kind of holds up the paper, and you see him run his hand along like each side of the paper where it's been endorsed with like a physical endorsement. You see there's like texture to it and everything.
Okay. Tristero starts like looking around, writing stuff down, and starts thinking about getting like similar endorsements, and looks at the signature over and over again. I bet I could make forgeries.
You're welcome to try. I'm not going to stop you, just to say the least, he says as he kind of puts it's like 4 sheets of paper down on the table. I'm not going to stop you from trying. Just like, you know, the hardest part of this would probably be the endorsement.
Right.
Any other questions or concerns?
Do we have a good way of making a copy of this quickly? This thing that we're trying to go in and copy. Like, is there a convenient way to do that, or do we just literally have to buy time inside in order for one of us to copy it down by hand?
That's like, there might be a way to do a quick copy of it, but I'm not totally sure is the thing.
Do you even know who is working on the formula, or has been?
I think there's a team. As for the team head, I'm not entirely sure. No, there's a variety of individuals that it could be. High-ranking scientists and sparkwrights and the like in the Ministry of Preservation, but I'm familiar with some of them, not so much with others, so I can't say. It's kind of a passing acquaintance. It's not like we get lunch regularly or anything.
I think I can get some forger's paper from someone. At least make it a little bit easier.
What does that do?
Yeah. The idea of it is basically if you put a light underneath the original source, you can actually see where it is, and you just copy the formula word for word real easily. If we need it to be exact.
As exact as possible. Chemistry is pretty much just math. So at the end of the day, the more exact that you can get in terms of the notes and the measurements and the like of the tools that are being used there, the easier it will be for me to replicate. And well, supposing they've been good scientists about it, it should be easily replicable based on their notes is the thing, because they should have written it down in such a way.
And is there any other like side thing that's important, or anything that would behoove us to do otherwise while we're in there, or is this just one thing?
Normally, I would also say that it would probably be in our best interest to, like, say, steal a vial, but I think that's a little more noticeable than just copying down the formula, and we're trying not to be noticed.
Yep.
Speaking of additional pieces, what was the pyro that we got to the last time? How did that?
Oh yeah.
That fine grade.
The very fine grade pyro, the stuff that was in the vault. You said, yes.
You don't need to know where it was, but yes.
I mean, like, I don't need to know where it was, but you made a distinction, so like I had to, like, you said this was the good stuff, kind of stuff, the stuff they really hid. So that stuff, comparatively, so as I said, the way that they've bastardized my formula to make it more potent, I guess is the word, more volatile, cost to reward, more power but greater chance of combustion, kind of a thing. Used a distillation of seawater in conjunction with everything else that was honestly quite strange. The thing that was distinct about these vials of pyro that used differently is that rather than using a seawater base like they started using for the volatile ones, these ones, they used, so far as I can tell, this is just a theory. This is one that appears to be both more powerful and more stable. But potentially long-term use would be more toxic to the body, not in a combustion way, but in a literal toxin way, because from what I can tell, the base of the liquid that they were working with at a base here was 9 parts water to 1 part mercury.
Huh.
Hmm.
All of that sounds awful. Good to know.
Yep.
And at that kind of juncture, like I said, it appears to be incredibly potent at that juncture. Something about the way that the mercury binds with the rest of the molecules in the pyro adds a certain je ne sais boom to it. Is the thing. And honestly, using this vial of pyro short term might be one of the most potent fire effects you've ever seen in your life, to true almost control. But over time, prolonged use of it will poison your body, run you down, and eventually kill you. Even if you don't spontaneously combust.
Yeah. Fun. Okay. Right. So we go in. We copy the formula. Get out. No one knows we were there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Any other queries? Anything else I can help with?
Have you been in their labs before? Do you know
Yes,
what lab?
but it has been a few years.
Okay. Here, draw. Can you give us like a basic layout and like any extra rooms
Sure.
along the way?
I can give you the very most basic of layouts, kind of a thing. Ministry of Preservation is about keeping infrastructure up to date, but they don't like changing things quickly, so I doubt that it's changed much, except maybe in the sense of what labs are doing what. That is, the other thing is I don't know which specific lab they've been doing it in. There are multiple labs there, so there's a lot of different formulas that they could be working on, or things that they're testing. Anyway, it kind of draws out a very basic map of the lab kind of level of the Ministry of Preservation. There's kind of 4 main labs, A, B, C, and 4.
Now that just seems obtuse.
Do they kind of just give up?
It's so what it used to be was that each of the labs had their own like specialized name that had been given them by the head of the lab. So there was like Lab Omicron and Lab Project Rising and Lab Amalgamation or whatever. And then one of the scientists, I think it was Dr. Bright, was just like, that all seems rather over the top. My lab is named Lab 4. And then eventually the Ministry of Preservation came in and was like, no, we're standardizing everything. But this is going to be A, B, C, D. And Dr. Bright went, no, fuck you, it's still Lab 4. So
I respect that.
it's A, B, C, 4.
Perfect. Okay.
And for this coolant chemical they're making, do you know which doctor is leading on that?
No.
Maybe we can.
As I said already, no.
Oh, okay. Wanted to make sure.
Don't know
I
one
don't
individual,
know.
don't know the team, don't know the lab. So
Do we know who runs security? Do we know?
If it's the same people that ran security the last time I was there, then probably it's probably a wing of the military, more than anything. It's a brigade wing, basically. Specialized for guard duty on the Ministry of Preservation and other areas of importance around Brightstone and White Crown. There's probably also a chance that there's some maybe blue coats possible station there. And it would not, given that we are starting to step into kind of upper tier, would not be outside the norm to say they might have 1 or 2 spirit wardens on stake there. Spirit wardens, of course, being the specialized individuals of the crown who deal with ghosts, demons, and the like.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All matter. All right. Archie, are you particularly attached to any method of us getting in? I mostly mean this in the sense of our cover story. Are you particularly attached to any particular cover story that we utilize?
No. It's just anything that, if you think my credentials will be of use here, anything that would attach you tangentially to me will work, probably. It's like you could be anything from my students needing a tour to, I don't know,
That could
fucking
be fun.
anything.
I don't think I've been a student.
A long time.
Even students might work.
All right.
That was an idea I threw out there, and absolutely randomly. If you come up with something better, please feel free to use it. But I not to say that we can't make it work. I'm absolutely sure we can make it work. I just, anyway.
I feel like it doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room to separate yourselves from us. It seems like we would have to be tied to your hip basically the whole time.
Probably.
If that was our story.
But I mean, a field
Yes,
trip
unless-
does sound fun.
If I took you as students, let's say on like a field trip, because you were students who had shown an interest in ministry preservation and potentially looking at work study there, then I could maybe find a way to set it up so that you got a tour guide while I went and did something else. But then you'd be saddled with a tour guide that you needed to deal with, and like.
Yeah, probably wouldn't be so much fun.
I mean,
Okay.
how many coat closets are there? Or janitorial closets?
Remember, we're trying not to leave any traces.
Right. Sorry.
Yep.
Yep, you're right.
I wouldn't leave a trace in the coat closet. Not this time.
I don't get that, but I'm
I
a little
feel like it
nervous.
makes reference to a job we did before.
It's okay, I miss Crow. Anyways. God damn it, Crow.
I mean, I don't really. Archie's kind of scratching his head. Leaving traces in a coat closet.
It's okay. We have done the whole looking like staff though before. If we don't think it's going to stand out too much, that doesn't tend to mean we hurt anybody or anybody else is.
Right.
You just
And it gives you probable deniability too, I think.
exactly.
Mhm.
Fair.
Would we
Yes.
want to, because here's the thing, I think Tristero offered to try and forge some company credentials. That's one option. And then we could also just stake out the front of the building for a while and
Right.
try and catch some people coming out and just take their credentials. But I don't know if that blows our cover.
That would definitely blow our cover. People would hear about that somehow.
You
I
could
think-
play it off as being, I don't know, Peruvian investors or something who are looking to. I don't know.
Let's go ahead and maybe start looking into a few ideas. But we should keep it just to the four of us as of right now. So
Fine.
Sure.
as much as I would like to reach out, because there are probably some people who do have a lot of information, I don't want word to slip out personally.
Not that we're going to be going there or have anything to do with it. I think that'd be too dangerous in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Should we
Yes.
maybe just stake out the building a little bit just to get a glimpse of what what the garb looks like? That way, if there's any variance between what Archie has and what they're actually using today standard, we can sort of make adjustments for the forgeries.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I mean, it seems like we've kind of got our plan.
I'm wondering, Archie, you might know this. Was there a place you and all the other lab techs, people that worked on projects, went to after you were done working for the day? Is there a
That's what I
bar?
was starting to think.
And how often did someone leave the place with their keys or credentials of some kind, and then
Well,
misplace
it's a good place
them?
for conversation.
You needed to keep your ID card on you to get in. So everyone left with their ID kind of credentials on them usually, was the thing. Keys are kept under a bit more strict control in the Ministry of Preservation. It's kind of you check in and then you're able to pick up your keys for the day from security, wherever you might be working, kind of a thing.
Tight security on that.
Yes, incredibly. When the Ministry of Preservation is not only the forefront in terms of infrastructure, they contain most of, if not all of the plans for the entire city, in some case or respect, including future plans for any renovations. So they keep things tight under key so that those cannot be modified, because those can be, if someone were to modify that in order to cause problems and issues. And then they also keep things under tight lock and key because they're one of the forefront research domains in terms of physical infrastructure and danger prevention, which means that they're also one of the forefronts of researching explosives, because they research the effect of explosives on infrastructure a lot of the time. And demolition is a necessary part of building a lot of the time in the terms of infrastructure. So things keep under a very tight lock and key.
Gotcha. Okay, so we might not be able to get a key. As for IDs.
Oh, right. You asked me about bars and the like,
Yes.
where people go after work. So I don't know if you've met scientists before. We're not always the most social, at least in terms of my experience. But those who are tend to be very social, kind of a thing. There's, it's kind of every organization has its internal politics. Who's mad at who's sleeping with who, and all that. But the main thing is terms of keeping to answer the question that I have not actually answered yet. There is a bar, or rather, it is a club, a rather exclusive club in Brightstone, and you need to be of good standing in order to enter. So a member of the Ministry of Preservation, of course, go right ahead. Come on in. Thank you very much. Someone like us, I could probably get in there with my old ID card, supposing that it still works and they don't look too closely, but it kind of is, it's for the influential kind of club. It's an upper place, kind of, you know what I mean? Like the high rolling back rooms at the Silver Stag. Only the best of the best are allowed in.
Or me, but I'm a different case. So
Yes.
Interesting. That might be tricky.
Okay. And yeah, it'd be too suspicious to bump into them and then go, "Oh, we found your ID. Here's it back."
Yeah, we can't really pull anything like we did with that one time in Jeff. And
I do not want a repeat of Jeff.
me
That
neither,
was
but I think
sad.
for different reasons. So
I'm still sad about that.
Yeah.
I feel really weird about what happened with Jeff.
same, but very different reasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, right.
Okay.
We're best coming up with a cover story that can get us in as far as possible, and then hoping that we can at least have one or two of us slide away to get where we need to actually get.
Yeah, I think the most difficult obstacle here is to just keep the job as impressively quiet as possible.
Which we know is possible for you, is the thing for all of you. You were, up until the actual, as far as I understand, building going, you were pretty good at getting into the site that the last job you did, unnoticed.
Yeah, but the issue with that one was we were reaching out to people and getting resources from them in different ways. This one, and even with the job before that, the ones we did for the flock, we had a way in. It was, they're medical professionals. Let's make one of us look doped up. And
Yeah, that was still a very poor choice, I think, by the way.
Are you feeling all right, Tristero? Has any long-term negative effects on you?
Oh, I think
absolutely not. There's a fire burning right behind Archie as he says that. Absolutely not. No, I'm perfectly fine, actually.
Sounds fake, but okay.
Y'all don't have the skill to know I'm lying.
I know. plan to get that one day. Don't worry.
It will be too late by then. Anyways,
Oh,
but actual answer, I am fine. I'm actually doing much better. This has taken a huge load off me, and the fact that most of this work is honestly, you bringing all this paperwork to us has done a majority of the legwork, and I'm in the I've had more time to myself, essentially. I've actually gotten to sit down and have coffee, and I got to read a nice little book.
Very good.
sounds
Yeah.
So
nice.
glad, Tristero. You
Yeah.
really need to take better care of yourself.
With a
Um,
self-help book, Tristero?
No, actually, and you look over at the shelf, there's like lockpicking 101.
Tristero, you realize you could just talk to me, right? I can teach you. You don't have to just read it.
How to make a new face, new name, and in a new town. Like,
That one's concerning.
but no, like, to get back to the job at hand, again, the biggest obstacle is just to make this quiet. Honestly, the easiest way is to distract them with a giant explosion. Wick has rubbed off on me.
You want to distract them with a giant explosion.
Exactly, that's why I'm saying
quiet.
it's not a good idea.
Yeah,
It's
no.
a terrible
okay.
idea.
If there
No.
was not,
If there's a giant explosion, they're going to start investigating into what caused the explosion.
Yeah, and that tends to be how we get through places quietly, as weird as that sounds, is distractions. So what we are going to need, especially from you, I think, is a distraction akin to an explosion without it being an explosion.
a social explosion, really. Explosion of personality.
What if? Hear me out. Hear me out. What if we go in, and then after we get in there, and we are talking to the person at the desk, I bring who's basically an old concoction of a slightly aged concoction of potassium. It's long story short. I induce a seizure in myself.
Taking one from my book there, Archie. Taking one from my book.
Yes,
like this.
But the difference is on two things here. Two things are very different here. First off, I know proper dosage so as to not cause myself any long-term or short-term medical problems beyond the initial seizure. And second, as long as someone is there to catch me when I hit the ground, I'll be fine. And
Do Asher and I both look at Mort as soon as he says, "Catch me"?
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't think it needs to be me. I mean, look, catching someone who's falling from their normal height, it doesn't take someone with immense strength.
It still
I would be
shouldn't
good
probably
for
be
catching
me.
someone from like a floor above.
they have so the thing that would induce seizure is comes in a powder form. Now they have these neat little water cooler things in the open lounge. So if I get myself just a little cup of water, and then I have the powder, and I think Anya has one of those rings that you can hide things in. So if I hide the powder in the ring, and then when I'm drinking the water, I can put the powder in, and then it's just drinking the water, and then suddenly seizure.
Would that not get back to, sorry, did I miss a part where that wouldn't get back to you somehow? Is there some sort of like security that would catch that, or
Like the powder?
Yeah, the ring.
Oh no. So the ring probably not, not unless I'd hope that they're more worried about my medical status than the ring I'm wearing. But
yeah.
second, the other thing is that the formula, even if they were to perform some kind of I guess it's possible if they were to take me to a doctor, but if they were to perform some kind of blood test on me to see if I ingested anything, this amalgamation is actually entirely indetectable in the blood because it mirrors the common levels of potassium that are in the blood already.
Interesting. That was a
It's-
lot.
it's-
That was
yeah,
a lot.
It's So the name of this is because this is also a dosage thing, is that the name of this actual concoction is actually called Heartstopper. And the reason it's actually called Heartstopper is because it's commonly used by the quote-unquote Black Widow or Black Widower to induce a heart attack in their spouse in order to get rid of them, because it is entirely untraceable in the blood system upon autopsy. But in much lower doses, it doesn't induce a heart attack, it induces a seizure.
That was very cool. All that stuff was really cool that you just said. It was I don't really understand. I get it. Cool. That sounds good to me. Do we think that that's going to be a good enough distraction? Like, how long will that? Do you have maybe a time limit that you would have?
The seizure would be the seizure would be short. The main thing would be the large initial distraction that it would cause, and then the amalgamation of people trying to make sure that medically I'm okay.
Right.
Because we are also going to be in a place that is surrounded by doctors.
Yes.
Now, they might not be medical professional doctors, but most even base laboratory scientists have a certain level of first aid that is mandatory to operate in a laboratory.
It's impressive, and I like that. You said there are guards who are military, right?
There will likely be, like, the most prominent guards that are going to be there are going to be brigade. They are going to be the military. You will definitely see them. It's also possible that there might be a handful of blue coats that are there on discretionary, if they're there on retainer or something, and maybe 1 to 2 spirit wardens. But spirit wardens, that is the one thing, is spirit wardens wouldn't be distracted by this, because spirit wardens don't deal with the physical, they deal with the esoteric and the spiritual.
Right. Okay. So, I'm not in love with the idea of anybody drugging themselves ever, but that at least is in the hands of a professional at this point, and I
Spectre,
feel
we're drug
slightly
dealers.
better.
Spectre, we're drug dealers.
I know, but at the same point, it's mostly the sense of, like, this, I mean, I guess could also...
Pulls a blanket off the table, unveils an entire pile of murmur.
You know what?
We're not supposed to take it.
That's, yeah, okay, thank you, Mort, thank you.
I mean, just think about it.
Supposed to take it for funsies, not for distractionies, and I think that's
Right.
a little bit where I get my concerns. And yes, I'm aware we sell drugs, but at the same point, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. So
I think it's a good plan. I'm gonna go on record.
If you come up with a
officially, it's
better
good
plan for me to make a distraction, I'm all ears, because I'm not necessarily on board with causing a seizure in myself. Like, it's just the first thing that came to mind.
That's fair. That's fair. And
No, and I know you're nervous about your first like outing with us, and I think I just want you to know that you're doing a great job. This planning phase is very stressful, especially for me, and so I think you're doing a great job, and I just want you to know that.
At the end of the day, as long as I make it home to Anya, it'll be fine.
oh, we're not telling Anya anything of what goes down here, by the
Well,
way.
I mean,
Nah,
we
know
don't
how
have
well
to tell her
connected
about.
she
We don't
is.
have to tell Anya about the medically induced seizure.
Yeah, specifically that part we are not telling her.
But,
Yeah,
like,
we can tell her
Anya-
anything else, but
Anya knows most of our other endeavors. I mean, she planned the party
I know.
and
I know.
even
Right.
planned the second location that you had her set up, which, by the
That's
way, was
kinda
very
what I'm
useful, mind
thinking.
you. But like,
and I love Anya. I
Anya's
I
great.
don't want her worried more than she has to be.
Yep.
Honestly, I feel like she will come for our heads if she finds out you induced a seizure in
Oh,
yourself.
100%.
That's where I'm at with
well,
it.
if
Someone
you
who
have
can
a
put
better
together
plan, give
a
it to
second.
me.
We're
Otherwise,
working on it.
fine.
This is what we do. We talk about the plan. We gather around the table. We keep throwing ideas until something sticks. Sometimes
What
it means
if-
someone takes drugs.
I'm
What if we
not
do
used to
seizures?
being here for this pod, okay? I usually go back to my office for this pod.
That's fair. What if we
Welcome.
induce a seizure in Tristero and then they can't harm themselves for the rest of this
You are
heist?
testing my limits. I will.
I would vote against that. I like.
But we'd have somebody who knows what they're doing the dosage this time. That's just, I think that's the key part, is having a professional on board.
Right, but again, we like the idea of Archie coming in, doing what he needs to do, and then basically being completely incapacitated for the rest of it.
I know,
Thus being out of the way of danger.
But we still
think-
may want to keep somebody with him is where my
What
concern
if-
is, because all three of us going is weird.
What if, instead of a seizure, I got arrested?
Worse.
I think
Worse.
that's worse.
Oh,
Worse.
all right. Well,
I
not
think-
not like big arrested kind of a thing. Just like petty arrested. Like
Have you
like
in a-
have you
pushed over
been
a
arrested
vase.
before?
like destruction of public property kind of a thing.
Have you ever been taken in?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I've been taken in and I wasn't even arrested, and I had several ribs cracked. I guarantee you don't want any of that. And
There's more
any of
lasting
that.
damage to
Being arrested by the blue coats, bad. You might get injured. Being arrested by blue coats and military police in a government facility, we will not see you for the next 3 months.
Yeah,
I think I'm necessary at least a little bit.
you
yeah.
are.
They
We're not.
they do not care.
They won't.
I know. I meant
So-
like. Okay. Well,
We're not doing that one. We.
not that one then. So back to the medically induced seizure.
How about this?
So what's the point of entry that we're really worried about? We want to get in the front door and have them not immediately catch on to us and kick us the hell out. We
Yeah.
want to get in, have the medically induced seizure in order to get us past some
Honestly,
point, some key card entry point, and then
yeah.
how dangerous is it for us after that point?
Well, there's not key card entries. What the fuck is a key card entry?
I have no
there's-
idea. I blacked
There's
out.
ID cards kind of a thing, and then you get your ID and you go in and you get the set of keys. So I guess that's key card. But
Right.
no, but I guess the main thing is that we get the credentials to get us past the front desk and the secretaries into the main kind of working area, and then I have a seizure and it makes people come running, and then you all do your thing.
From your experience, how restrictive is it inside once we're past the initial guards?
How much free
Incredible.
range of the How much free range do the military police have that are guarding that place?
So they're not allowed in the labs, is the thing. Like into the
Okay.
labs specifically. The military police can't go in there for a variety of reasons. But they are otherwise given pretty free reign. They have access to hallways, all of the break rooms. They have access to filing rooms. They have access to the offices and the likes that. For the most part, they have structured places, I believe, like points that they stand and patrols that they walk. And there is usually one stationed, like, say, outside of a lab most of the time, but like they're not allowed in for a variety of reasons. The main one being that they're not trained staff and they could cause a problem.
I'm failing to see why we would need a distraction at the front door. It sounds like having you there gets us the keys to continue
Right.
on. Maybe
So-
we just keep you and the seizure idea in our back pocket for when we need it,
Nice.
and we just come up with a little hand signal to be like, things are getting sticky.
So
Go.
So
for
like
seizure
I get a
plan."
cup of water, I get us in the front door, and then when we're walking through when necessary, I induce seizure.
That's where I'm at. I don't know.
That might be a good idea. And another good point of entry is you are the originator of Formula 451, which is most likely why they're working on this formula, because
Yes,
Pyro is
that is fair. I mean, Formula 451 was something that I initially developed under government contract working with them, is the thing.
another entry.
And the like. Eventually funding was cut because it didn't seem like research was going anywhere on it, and that's why I was let go as a consultant. I wasn't fired, I was laid off, kind of a thing. But I continued my research beyond that into Formula 451 in my own time, and that eventually became its own issue. Don't get me wrong, I was certainly questioned when it hit the streets, and I was fully given my my 2 cents to them, and I've been consulted at various times in their making of preventative measures and the like, which is why I know that they are developing preventative measure. And the only reason I know that they've had the breakthrough recently is because of an old friend contacting me for some stuff from Ministry of Preservation from when I worked there. It's kind of that situation of who you know, what happens.
Our best way in probably is leveraging the fact that you are you, and we are trying to learn from you, and we are investigating a potential workplace study program of some variant, and therefore we are your students and wandering in with you.
Okay.
It sounds, I know, but I know if we can come up with something better, great, but otherwise, who are we to you? Maybe we're your lab assistants, mate, but any of them ask anything, it's not gonna happen.
Right. Lab assistants might work, for you two. And he looks at Mort.
Military bodyguard.
Brought your own, maybe.
Pyro case was getting higher. Someone's probably going to find out that you originally made it. They want you to make a better version of it, Pyro.
Or they want me dead.
Or they want you dead. Or
It
for
makes
all
sense
they
for
know,
you
you
to-
made a better version of Pyro.
Mm.
I have not touched anything to do with Pyro.
I know.
Other than the
We
experiments
know
we've
that.
been running with. The stuff you've been bringing me.
Mm-hmm.
That actually might be a good one then. If two of us are your assistants, then Mort is your own protective detail.
Mm-hmm. Mort, you still got your military uniform?
Yep.
Okay. Might need to make
You
some
actually see Mort physically tense up a little bit at the mention of this, and like he physically tenses up, and then large man somehow shrinks a little bit in his chair.
Okay, big guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Just yeah. I'll whatever you all need to for me to help. I'm good.
Maybe a blue coat outfit then.
Right. Okay.
Alright.
That might be the plan. We'll do our own research, see what else we can come up with. At least case
Absolutely.
the place if
I
nothing
can-
else.
I don't know how much help it will be, but I can go back to my office and I can look through some of my old notebooks and things from my days as a consultant, see if I can learn anything that might be of aid.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Maybe write a letter to your friend and say, I have some students who are interested, or I trust you to come with the cover story because you know more about the Ministry of Preservation than I do.
Yes. I think I can.
Develop
I
that.
think I have an idea, actually.
All right.
And he kind of goes walking down the gangplank.
Oh god.
I love that man.
I
I
do
am
too, but I'm
terrified.
worried.
I am terrified.
Archie has come a long way since you first met this man. In terms of his physical confidence that he's been portraying and like his skills. And suffice to say, yes, his disguise wasn't great, but as previously said, to specifically also for those experienced with disguises, Spectre and Tristero, it wasn't the worst you've seen. You've seen people get into better places, or not better places than you're trying to get, but into good places with worse disguises. Spectre, you once talked your way into a entire rendezvous with a clipboard and a lanyard. Disguises are sometimes about how you hold yourself, and so if you can convince Archie to hold himself maybe a little more confident in his disguise, then it doesn't matter as much about what he's wearing as it does about what he's portraying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We just need to keep the man not worried about things. Then he starts to crumble in panic. As long as he feels good about it, we're good.
Mm-hmm. Also, here's the part he didn't mention out loud. You gotta remember how our second job was to break into Iron Hook? Iron Hook pretty tough.
Yep.
Imagine if there was
Hard-
another
hard to
Iron Hook
forget.
inside of an Iron Hook, inside of another Iron Hook, and also the Emperor's watching over it the entire time.
God, I miss Crow. Yeah, that sounds fun.
If it wasn't for the fact Spirit Wardens are there, I would be begging Crow to give us at least a ghost key in.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be my preferred way in.
No, I think we're gonna have to go in deception mode and do that. And then I think as soon as we can get the furthest way in, the biggest things is figuring out which lab it's in and see what we can get
Mm-hmm.
from anything else.
Sorry, I'm caught on the consequences of a non-whisper trying to use a ghost key and what might happen. Anyway, keep going.
We're not using that plan for many reasons.
I have one in it soon. I could try it.
That is just you. Mort and I are outside.
Yep.
Far away.
My thought on that would actually be that for a whisper, a ghost key is an item that they can use. It's a tune roll. For anyone else, they can make an attune roll, but it's more like a Sparkrite invention where it might have volatile consequences kind of a thing.
May or may not get possessed again. That's fine. But yeah, so direction-wise, what we definitely need to get is disguises. Mort, we can let's look and see what blue coats are looking like when they go into that building and leave it, and get another disguise for that. Asher, what might be a good idea for us is we can get student uniforms to wear and then change into military uniforms once we're inside and the entire thing breaks bad.
Yeah.
Well, not breaks bad, but you know what I mean. Distraction.
We're going to want between the lab and the security. But I think lab is going to be more important because security doesn't go into the labs.
Yeah.
And at some point we will need to go into the lab.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever lab it is, which I think is the other big thing, is we need to find that out. Either we figure out a way to find that out when we get in there, or we try to figure it out in advance. I know that's going to be tricky, but...
Yeah. Might need to... There might be... There's also going to have to be a way, because when they do a security check, they do a full pat down. We need to find a way to, like, stash certain things on our body. And we can get
well,
some...
if I'm supposed to look nice, I'm wearing the dress I had for Helene's shindig, and I can hide some things, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd probably get away with a bottle of whiskey.
You prefer
Sorry,
yeah. Empty it out, put stuff in there.
That is a great dress. There is a lot of things to hide that. All I can think right now is the scene from season 1 of Doctor Who when a completely naked Captain Jack Harkness pulls out a gun, and they're like, "Why were you keeping that?" Wouldn't you like to know?
Perfect. I love him so much.
It's the ghost pocket, obviously.
Anyway, so
anyhow.
I think we are at the gathering information section of this. And there's a lot of things to be done. So I genuinely think for once, Mort, you might not be going with the person in the most danger. Because you might have things you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly struggling to think of things that we can do. I feel like this is, it feels a lot on the fly to me.
Not wrong.
That's the point of planning and getting things, is so that it's not on the fly.
Right, but I guess I'm struggling to think of what we can do ahead of time is where I'm at.
There's, it's fair.
Do you want to get a blue coat outfit? Or sorry.
Yeah, I guess that's something that I could work out.
Yeah, why don't we start with Mort? Mort, you're gonna, based on this plan, you're going to be a bodyguard. You have an old military outfit that could work, especially if you wanted to wear it as though you were ex-military, which would be pretty normal for private mercenary bodyguard kind of a thing. Alternatively, you could go about acquiring a blue coat outfit. That could work. In terms of people who are often hired as private bodyguards and the like, you could see about getting talking to another gang. However, y'all don't actually really have a relationship with any other gang who tend to serve as bodyguards, is the thing. Because the people who tend to serve as bodyguards are the Gray Cloaks and the Bill Hooks, neither of which you have a standing relationship with. So
it seems like ex-military or blue coats. Do we... who was the group that's not allowed in the labs? Like, would either of those two options be fine?
The military guards aren't allowed in the labs, is the thing. Like, so the people who are associated with them, you wouldn't be associated with them because you'd be going in as ex-military kind of thing. You'd be a mercenary.
I mean, just for the sake of laying low, that seems like the better option. That way I don't have to like go procure, because Mort's got one way of procuring a blue coat uniform, and that is by taking it from someone who is wearing one. And that's a little loud.
Okay, so tell you what then, Mort, we'll come back to you on gathering information if you're going to go with the military uniform and see what else you might come up with. Why don't we go to Tristero then?
Yeah.
Tristero.
I think I have two thoughts here, and it's either I want to, actually, I want to try and find out who. I want to try and find out who the head of security is for that complex, and see if what I can dig up on them and kind of get what their habits are. How often do they check paperwork on people? How strict are they? What their background is.
How are you going about that? What is your plan?
I think so. I'd like to think that the way Tristero learned about Mort was he broke into a basically like a military complex as well, and it is their like what do you call it when the pension department. Yes. Broke into the pension department, and they have files on
everyone's 401k.
Yeah, basically every active military member, and where they are currently located, who their loved ones are, so in case they die,
active and discharged.
Yeah. And so basically with find cover identities and maybe a few kind drinks to the right people, a couple nods, I want to get into that department and start looking through whoever got shipped here, and then who is running the Brightstone research department for the Ministry of Preservation.
Okay. I would call that a consort.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Okay. I believe I have only one in that. What does a devil's bargain look like? Just for my own sake.
In this case, the devil's bargain is probably that you kind of burn that bridge, is the thing. Is that you probably won't have access to the military, at least pension records again.
Okay. That's fine with that.
Kind of use up all the goodwill that you have left there between acquiring Mort's records and now this.
Mm-hmm. I am fine with that. I definitely want to say, hey, guarantee last time. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
All right, give me this is okay. Well, it's a 3. Well, you find out a little bit is the thing. You find out none of their habits. You find out none of their things, but you do get a name of who's in charge and a rank, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So you get Inspector General, which means that they are the equivalent in the U.S. military. That'd be the equivalent of a 2-star general. Inspector General Jeremiah. I'm waiting. I'm saying this slowly so you can write it down.
Jeremiah Valentine.
Jeremiah Aberdeen. I would say that you could potentially ask Mort if Mort has any more information on that individual, but beyond that, I would say record-wise, you got a name and a rank.
I also have another question. Can I spend a coin to get another setup action done, or should I just wait till a flashback for that?
I would say wait for a flashback for that.
Okay.
Just for the sake of time and keeping things abreast and apace. Depending on where we're at time-wise, I might just give you one. You don't need to coins, or if you want to spend things that are normally downtime actions.
Mm-hmm.
Gathering information doesn't cost extra. It just takes time, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Asher.
Okay, so we got the name of the club where the scientists hang out, at least the ones that are social and do, correct?
Yes, you did get the club. It's called the Silver Chalice.
Cool. Knowing that I have known quite a few people who worked at the Silver Stag, has anybody ever done shifts? Has anybody ever worked there or has left the Stag to work there instead? Basically, I'm wondering if I know anybody in the service industry that I guess worked both places.
Yeah, it's actually not that uncommon. the Silver Chalice and the Silver Stag aren't sisters per se, but they run in a lot of similar circles. So the main thing here is the staff that you're familiar with who have worked both places are not what would be counted as regular staff by Helene or this place. They are the basically outside caterers kind of a thing that are sometimes brought in that there's a nice high-end catering service that has worked both places and a variety of higher echelon places in the city kind of a thing. So that's the kind of people you'd be familiar with. Other than that, you're not really aware of any staff crossovers per se.
Okay.
That's information you would have at base. You don't need to roll for that. So,
because my thought was going to be to go talk to whatever, if there is a mutual point of contact. So if it's these outside caterers, see if I go talk to them and see if they've heard of any of the, like, trying to be like vague, but hopefully getting something out of it. Being like, have you heard about any of the projects that they've been working on?
yeah, that would be sway, because that's kind of more in the moment, like you're doing a one-off conversation, whereas Tristero's was more like dinner, wine, let's go talk to this person and this person and kind of pull on the threads, and you're just like, hi, hello, I'm here to acquire things and stuff.
Yeah. I am, if I can do that, I would like to go ahead with that, because that's hopefully my best guess of at least figuring out where in the world that anything could be happening.
Absolutely. So you want to talk to the service industry who hear everything and never get noticed. It's always a good plan.
Perfect. Okay.
This is a great cover if you want to go into concerts without paying for a ticket.
It's true. Risky standard, yeah, the usual.
Yeah, this is a gather information, so it doesn't that doesn't matter as much.
Okay. I only have one die in this, however, sometimes that works out perfectly great for me, so I'm gonna take a shot and hope it works.
6.
Yo.
It's always when I only have one.
Amazing.
It's always when I only have one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's a 6. Yeah, actually. So the fun thing about, again, the service industry, and this is why I love when people go talk to the service industry, as people who's been there, you hear everything. And a lot of the time it is often only bits and pieces, but you hear everything. You usually have the most gossip. And fun fact about people in the service industry, they talk to each other a lot because no one else will talk to them. So the thing that you're able to learn by talking to this is, like, specifically you were looking for information on the people who go there from the lab, or what's the lowdown?
Yeah, if I can just, who's involved in what projects, more or less. Because then if we get the name of those individuals, even somebody who's on the team of what we want, we can start to ask questions about that individual in the building to lead us to the right lab.
Yeah, so you actually get some really good information here because you're able to figure out the name of the lead scientist as working on the anti kind of the fire repellent is the thing. His name is Dr. Bright.
Oh, it is, okay.
Which means that it's probably in Lab 4.
Yep. After that lovely story about Lab 4, perfect, excellent.
Is the thing. Dr. Bright is the head researcher on that, based on information based on a couple of scientists who come in who are unfortunate alcoholics and with loose tongues, complaining about their boss, Dr. Bright, and the formula that they've been working on for days and days and days and days. And my God, I haven't had a vacation in 3.5 years.
The burnout is real.
I haven't had a vacation. It's just like, I haven't had a vacation in 3.5 years. My husband has left me.
Oh, God.
I don't know what I'm doing with my life. But it's almost done. The formula. The Krabby Patty formula. No,
Yeah.
the formula. It's almost done. I'm going to take a vacation to Aruvia, I think. That sounds nice. Warm sands, tropical beaches, coconuts,
Perfect.
drugs. Anyway.
Perfect.
But so that's the information you're able to get pretty handily there, that the lead researcher is Dr. Bright on that kind of a thing. And the kind of the service industry person's like, yeah, it's honestly, They tip well, though, is
That's
the
good.
thing. Like the scientists, they tip
Yeah.
well, but none of them seem happy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? None of them seem like particularly pleased with their jobs. Like they all kind of get that not that kind of like what's the word? It's kind of like it's not like us. Not in the like I'm doing this because it meets ends meet kind of a thing. They don't have that. They have the feeling of it's very similar actually to this lawyer that I was dating for a while who when they got into the law and things got really excited about working in like civil rights and helping people on the streets and working not public defense but specifically in working in legal action in order to change the law. And then like just they did it for so long and they had to deal with so long with kind of the red tape and the bureaucracy, and there was so little of a change that they seemed to affect despite everything that they'd done, that they kind of just slowly started to collapse in on themselves and wondering whether or not it was actually worth it to do this.
They're questioning their life's work, and therefore it's not giving them the joy they thought it would.
Right, kind of thing. It's not that they're not skilled and not that they don't love what they're doing in certain respects in terms of the but
what they're good at.
Just got this, I don't know.
They need a new lab to work in. Really.
Can they say boom?
Je ne sais what?
I don't know.
But
My
like,
drinks.
it's fine. You know, it's like they just feel burned out, kind of a thing. Honestly,
so if I go in as so they kind of need a career counselor, either to not maybe shift career, but maybe where their workplace is, probably at this point, to see if we can.
I need like maybe a career counselor, maybe some team building exercises. But honestly, more than anything, they just need a vacation.
Probably.
A vacation
and
better
some hobbies.
The hobbies probably help.
You know, I hear there's a great club where they are doing shared storytelling, and I hear that's very fulfilling.
Anyway, I hope this is
very much so. Thank you so much, and I'll see you. I think there's a gig you lot are doing in a few weeks, right? Over at the Stag.
Absolutely. Yes. Charlotte and I will be there. Actually, real quick. Real quick, Miss Claw. And starts digging through. Can you taste something for me?
Yes.
And kind of pulls out like these kind of they're round, almost like pink pastry like things with a chocolate drizzle on top. And I'm like, I need you to like just kind of tell me if these good. Is the thing. Like, did they seem like something to the effect of both in terms of physical presentation and taste that would benefit to a place of the upper echelons of the Silver Stag as someone who frequents those locations?
Happily.
And you kind of taste it, and what it is effectively it is a raspberry pastry kind of on the outside with a melted kind of white chocolate core kind of a thing, and then just a little bit of a milk, like a very light milk chocolate drizzle on top. And you see that they've kind of sprinkled a little bit of powdered sugar over the top for presentation purposes. And then like she's just got them in a box, but she's like, so if I wanted to actually do this, what I'd probably do as a presentation is like probably put them in concentric rings, and then I'd put like some mint leaves and sprig presentation. Does this seem...
The only recommendation I'm going to have, this seems actually very, very good for anything at the Silver Stag. What I'm going to recommend is you in addition to the powdered sugar, you then take the raspberries, freeze them, and then blend them. So then you get this powder of the raspberry to infuse a little bit of extra on top, and then dust it with that as well. And if you have any gold, like edible gold powder that tends to add that extra little bit of luster, that'll take it over the edge. Helene will be...
Yes, we might have some. We might still have some edible gold powder somewhere around here, but I'll have to look. It's one of our more expensive things. We tend to save it for the creme brulees, but I will.
Just a
I will see, and just as a tester, yes, and maybe on the more expensive events. Oh, thank you very much, Ms.
Delightful.
Yes, give Helene our best, of course, and hopefully we'll see you for the next event, which I think is in about a week or two, and I have to check the calendar. Anyway.
See you there.
Love you, please.
Bye. Love the service industry.
And Mort, have you come up with any ideas?
Yes. Here's what is gonna happen. Mort is going to be walking on his way to get his own ex-military uniform, his own military uniform from when he was in the military.
From his apartment.
Yes. On the way, he's going to start hyperventilating.
Oh, good.
And he's going to grab the wall next to the sidewalk and stop and take some deep breaths and then look up to see a blue coat. And he is then going to duck into an alleyway, make a very loud sound within the hopes of attracting the singular blue coat, and then try and take him out and steal his clothes.
Okay. I'm gonna call that a hunt roll.
Whoa. Shit. Okay. Uh-oh.
What?
Not my best skill. But that's
Not your worst
okay.
either.
It's definitely not my worst. I don't want to do anything to help this because I'm already starting in a precarious stress situation. Okay, I think we roll with it.
All right, give me the roll.
Buddy, that's a 1.
Mort, I'm gonna give you a choice.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is your devil's bargain.
Okay.
Either you make a loud noise and the cop does not give a shit. He just
Right.
keeps going on his way and is just ineffective. Alternatively, it is effective. You're able to get the uniform, but you bit off a little more than you could chew, and you're going to walk into this job with a level 1 injury.
I think the latter seems more fitting, if I'm honest.
Okay. So the blue coat goes to check on you in the alleyway, goes to check on a loud noise. At that moment, you kind of bash him over the head with a garbage can lid. However, it's not this blue coat seems to be made of some sterner stuff, and in the process of as he like recovers and is like fighting back against you, you manage to eventually put him in a sleeper hold, but not before he takes a knife and jams it into your leg. So you're gonna give yourself level 1 injury, knife wound.
Okay.
All right, but you do manage to kind of knock him out, tie him up, take his clothes. You kind of put him on for a second, like fit it, and you're like, kind of for a second, you're like, and have to suck in a bit to do the buttons, but when you relax, it's a little tight in the chest, but surprisingly roomy in the arms. Is the thing. It's the shoulder is normal sometimes. You've gotten used to clothes that are tight in the chest and the shoulders a bit, but the arms are. You have a surprising range of motion in this. It's just breathing might be a bit of an issue.
I'm
Like
definitely
deep
gonna take.
breaths.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna take whatever standard accoutrement the blue coats tend to have, like whatever sort of official equipment or whatever official could be. Like if they've got a club or something, whatever the standard is that this person has on them, I'm gonna take that to make sure that the whole kit is complete.
Yeah, no, you got everything. You've got truncheon, you've got the kit, you've got the little cap. You pull out a badge and like kind of stick that in the pocket. You kind of go through it and going through like you're like probably don't need the regulation underwear. But
Well, yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, no, never mind.
You kind of go through the pockets for a second. You pull out what appears to be a crumpled voucher for he seems to owe some money to a casino.
I'll leave that. Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, that's fine there.
You kind of keep going through the pockets. You pull out a a little bit of string. You're like, was this attached to the pocket? No, this seems to be on its own. And then you take a closer look and you see it's got like flakes of blood on it. And you're like, this might have been used to strangle someone. And you put it down. And then you're like, I assume you
What's
take
wrong
the
with these
knife.
people? Yes.
I assume you take the knife. You're like, all right, knife. And kind of like one last kind of check over. And you're like, all right, okay. Oh. And as you're kind of inspecting this blue coat, you kind of get to his back and you realize he has a rather intricate tattoo on him. Not the symbol of the hunt.
Okay, all right, okay.
Just requiescat in pace, calm thyself, kind of a thing. But you kind of flip him over. He's got a very interesting tattoo, and you realize that this blue coat that you have knocked out, and maybe the reason he was a little harder to take out, is a former member of the 43rd Brigade. AKA the Skull Crushers.
Okay. How well did I hide myself, do we think? Probably not very.
Hide yourself?
Yeah.
It's a dark alley. You don't. If he saw you, it's probably not a full description, but like he definitely got maybe height and build.
Okay. I'm definitely just gonna take note of that and pass it on to the group when I see them, just to make sure that they know that just what's gone on here today and what might happen as a result.
Fair. Returning to the boat, in terms of gathering information, I'm going to take a leap of logic, Tristero, and assume that you're going to ask Mort about Inspector General Aberdeen.
Yeah, I think I might have like if I scouted Mort, I would I be aware if Aberdeen had anything to do with Mort's old unit at all? Or is that something that like Mort would have to tell me?
Not as far as you know.
Okay, cool.
Not as far as you know. But for the sake of this, because John himself would not know, but Mort would know.
You kept saying it. I was like, I don't know if I know that. I was looking at my notes. I don't see anything.
No. At a base level, Mort was not a high up military official is the thing at any real point. So he didn't have a lot of interaction with the military governry outside of reputation and rumor. What he does know about the Inspector General Aberdeen is that, one, he is a hard ass of amongst hard asses, a stickler for the rules. And above all else, the man values two key things: loyalty and honor. And it is beyond a shadow of doubt that he is incredibly loyal to the Emperor, to a fault. And that's all you got.
Yeah, I was going to just add in the rest of the paperwork. Everything was just redacted across the line. I only got his name.
Oh, yeah, no. Redacted. Even his fucking pension was redacted.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if he's like immortal. I wonder if like the Emperor cut him a deal to make him at least live longer.
But we have a little bit more time before we have to take our break here. Is there any other gathering of information that wants to go on either as a collective group, or is anyone thinking of anything that might be of use and interest? I want to say that this is, it's not an excess. It's not going to be any more difficult than Iron Hook, but like,
Iron Hook was difficult.
You had an easy out in Iron Hook.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
We had a crow in Iron Hook. Sorry.
You had a crow, an Iron Hook, and a skag at the end.
Yeah. Not sure if that was a benefit.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But you have an Archie here.
You do have an Archie who will not just decide to murder people. So that's nice.
So, is there any other information you would like to gather here? And it's also worth noting you're far more experienced than you were. It's been 7 episodes since then.
Let me check over my abilities and like some resources we get. Oh, the good stuff. Any of those people coming in and out of the lab look like they're addicted to murmur?
No.
Shit.
In fact, it seems that regulation on addiction that's not alcoholism seems pretty strict for people who work with chemicals all day.
I think it's understandable that there's a strict no drugs policy at work, for this one especially. Because if they're hampered in any way, shape, or form, then something is gonna go kaboom.
Mm-hmm.
That tracks.
Crap.
But, let's say we'll do one more kind of investigation if anyone wants it. You have, of course, options if you want to look into things regarding personnel, infrastructure, or the like. If you want to consult with your friendly local chemist who likes to make things go boom, that's also an option. If you were to visit the Damned or any of your other friends in the various groups.
Alright, so we know we've got some ideas on who we'll find in there, which lab we need to go to. Doctor in charge of this, but it may be beneficial to figure out anything about. There's a couple different ways we can go. Either figuring out any part of the infrastructure in there, like the hierarchy, teams, if we're going to be passing off as lab people, or as security in any way, shape, or form, knowing those pieces. Or,
Jaimie, do you have any recommendations on other ways we can find information or anything else we could look for?
As a recommendation, in terms of ways to get information here that might be of use to you, I would say that if you wanted insight into chemically the kinds of stuff they've been working on, honestly, Wick might actually be your best bet in terms of people you have connections to. If you wanted insight into the infrastructure of the building itself, plans, layouts, and things of that, that would be more in the domain of the Hive if you wanted to go talk to them. If you don't want to talk to anyone and it's just kind of a gathering of information, a stakeout is never a bad idea in terms of figuring out kind of routines and the number of people. What is those are kind of my off the top of my head and off the cuff kind of ideas.
Did kind of like the idea of a stakeout.
Yeah.
I feel like we danced around that a couple times.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards stakeout because the big thing is we don't want anyone to know we are going to the Ministry of Preservation, period. Like, even people who we consider close and trusted associates.
Why don't we do a group survey roll then? Cool. Everyone give me a survey roll. There's not going to be stress associated with this kind of a thing. Normally with group rolls, let's just do a flat survey roll across the board for everyone. Hit me with that. We'll I'll take like an average here and okay. Pretty 4, 5, average. And 6, which means the average is 5. Perfect. So a basic survey of the specific building in Brightstone that you're looking at. It's well maintained and guarded. There seems to be a regular rotation of staff throughout the day. In terms of like throughout 24 hours cycle, because day is relative in DOSBall. It's never day. But there's in terms of 24-hour cycle that kind of rotates through there seems to be 3 major shifts in 8 hours kind of a thing, and they are staggered so that the shifts with the guards and the shifts with the staff are actually at 4-hour intervals kind of a thing. So it's like every 4 hours there is some kind of staff change, whether it is guards or working research staff. So basically no one is ever supposed to be like too tired there's always someone who is on their game, kind of a thing, at any given time. The numbers relative is that on average, it looks like, again, as you knew, mostly military police style, mostly brigaders, and that puts us in the realm of about, based on estimates, people going in and out for a building as large, about 20 of them in the building at any one time, you would guess. You only see like a handful of blue coats, and they're not regular kind of a thing, and like in terms of their intervals, so those numbers vary. And you never see a spirit warden, but you wouldn't expect to, kind of a thing. As to actual staff numbers, on any given day, it looks like there's anywhere between 50 to 100 scientists plus regular staff, speaking janitorial, administrative, and the like, all combined.
So busy spot.
Yeah.
Easy to get lost in a crowd too, in case we need to.
That'll be helpful.
Okay.
So, with that, we're gonna go ahead and take our break, and when we come back, we will be diving into the action. We'll be getting into the kind of the execution of the job and making that engagement roll, and choosing our plan and how we're getting in and all of that. And as said, Archie will be joining us for this one, so we'll get to see
Good luck,
the
buddy.
delight that is our lovely, lovely professor doing his best. So until then, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Stick around, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye. And we're back. And our School of Scoundrels is going to be breaking their way into the Ministry of Preservation in the hopes of getting a flame-repellent chemical concoction for Archie to use to work up some stuff to help them in their endeavor future against the firebugs. And to that end, they've gathered the information to the extent that they can, they think. They've got Archie's credentials, getting them in the front door is the idea. So, and Archie is going to be going with them, at least to an extent, as far as they are comfortable taking him. So, let's talk the plan. This is obviously not an assault plan. I don't think you've ever done an assault plan. That might change next episode, but I don't think you've ever done an assault plan.
Hold on, wait, what?
This is not a transport, obviously, and Crow's not here, and we're not engaging any supernatural powers. But that leaves us with deception, stealth, and social, and the question of stealth is probably more like sneaking in through a window kind of a thing. So this is a little more social or deception. You tell me where we're going with this.
I would say closer to deception, mostly because most of us aren't who we are appearing to be.
Okay. So the method of deception would be disguises and fake identities, then, in that case.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Tristero will be coming up with cover identities for everyone.
So, let's begin. Our engagement roll, we start with 1 die for sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold and or daring? Well, y'all are tier 1, I believe? The Ministry of Preservation is tier 4. You are breaking into a highly secure government facility in order to steal something without being caught. Yes, this is bold and daring.
I would call it ambitious.
Is it overly complex or contingent on many factors?
Probably frustratingly uncomplex.
We want the general to be having a sick day.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a lot of pre-planning. So you know what? I won't take the die away. You haven't overcomplicated this for yourself. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability? Yeah, you're taking advantage of credentials to get you in the front door in a connection that you had in there. It's a vulnerability they have that they don't expect, so I'll give them that. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in this operation? Well, the Ministry of Preservation is in fact your rival. One of them anyway. So I'm taking a die away. There. Now, the last question is, are there any other elements we want to consider? Do you have any friends who might give you aid here, or people you can rely on, contacts and the like, who might be able to provide for you something to help? I ask because given the tier difference in this, I am going to be taking a die away for the tier difference. I just want to see if you can add one before I do that.
No.
What was the relation to the military person that you were looking up, Cole?
Jeremiah Aberdeen, just
Yeah.
their head of security, basically. I was wondering if they might have had like any relation to your squad back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I could maybe this probably would have been a better thing to do during the information collecting, but I could maybe reach out to somebody I know, like to Marlene maybe, just to see if she knows anything about him.
So you want to reach out to Marlene in order to see if she knows anything that could help with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I'd give you a die for that by saying that Marlene's able to provide some base information about how Aberdeen runs his squad, which is to say runs the people who are going to be in charge probably of the various military police faction that's going to be there. And the way that he runs his squad is no nonsense. And he only takes the most loyal. They cannot be bribed. They cannot be persuaded to turn coat or turn size. It is borderline fanatical devotion.
It's dangerous.
It's almost to say that the military police that are to Aberdeen are more loyal to him than they are to the actual military. So, a thing to keep in mind in the event that you run into any of those MPs. So I can give you the die for that, and then I'm taking one away for there's a 3-tier difference between you. So 2 dice is what we're working with here. We got 2 dice. So let's roll.
Oh my god.
Buddy! Hey, Jaimie, you wanna say what we rolled out loud?
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, that is a double 1, i.e. as close to a critical failure in this game as you can ever get. My friends, we are starting off in a desperate position. Every roll you will be making will be desperate.
All gonna die.
So, which means that unfortunately for Mort, he's starting at desperate limited because he is injured. So every position you're making in. And before we begin, let's make sure we declare load. How much gear are you bringing in? With keeping in mind, a light load means that you can keep things hidden and no one knows that you're there. A heavy load or a medium load means you look like a criminal going to do criminal things, and a heavy load means you're going to war.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with light because I'm a student.
I think normal makes sense for my disguise.
You are going as a bodyguard, so I would give you that, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever not done light. I'll be totally honest with you.
Okay. Also going in as a light load. So we're starting off as a desperate position. So the way that we're beginning this is at the front desk, and there is an argument between Archie and the secretary running the front desk, Archie, Archie is doing his best. He's like, look, I have the credentials. I've set up the appointment ahead of time. Just call Dr. Bright. Let him know that I'm here. It's this. Your credentials are several years out of date. And you really expect me to bother someone like Dr. Bright in his laboratory at a time like this? He's far too important for that. Really. Like, what can you possibly expect? And this is the position we're starting in. What are we doing?
Let's start with some general gather information. Where can I kind of study, survey, get an idea with this person and find some way of getting leverage on them?
That would be a study roll.
Yeah. I definitely like standing right next to Archie and listening to this and just holding on to whatever papers and like looking through while listening in. Desperate.
Standard.
Yep. I need to succeed. Is anyone able to help out at all or give some pointers?
Archie will do his first time to help without taking stress with foresight.
Good. Good boy. So proud of you.
Good job, Archie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and also take another 2 stress for me. We need to succeed here.
All right, so you're gonna push yourself.
What is going on?
Roll 20 hates us. For everybody at home, roll 20. The engagement roll was double ones. Tristero's roll was triple ones.
I'm in pain.
There's a lot of ones.
Tristero at a desperate position, unfortunately. This woman looks you up and down. Do not suffer incompetent fools in any way, shape, and or form in this organization. And I certainly don't suffer. My job is to keep the riffraff like yourself out and make sure that everyone is able to continue doing their job. So, to that end, I bid you good day. The door is where you saw it when you came in. And if this has to go any further, I will be contacting security.
Do you really want to be doing that? I mean, Asher's like desperate for any other way to keep the foot in the door at this point. So it's like literally the door is shutting. We're just shoving the foot there.
Didn't that literally happen in in Ironhook?
100% did. We're just doing a repeat of Ironhook at this point. Except without Crow, so I'm still not over it. Do you really want to do that? I mean, if Dr. Bright is expecting us, of all things, you are the one that's actually going to be reprimanded for not allowing us in. Do you really want to have that be on your record? I mean, it doesn't sound very loyal of you.
It's a sway. Give me a sway roll.
I know. How bad could this possibly be if I only roll with 1 die?
Do you want Archie to help you with his second use of foresight to give you an additional die?
I feel like that. I don't know. I feel like we should save that for later. But also, this is still our last shot at possibly. We might be kicked out and have to figure it a different way in. So.
The only other plan I have is we come back in wearing firebug masks. Honest to God.
That's terrible. Do I have a devil's bargain in this case?
Devil's bargain. She's calling security over. Whether or not it gets you in the door or not, you will have a security liaison with you, at least to the point that you're being directed.
I don't like that. Yeah, not taking it.
Okay.
Don't mean to do this to you so early, Archie, but if I could use his second.
Yep. So Archie's like, no, look. See? My associate is very correct here. Dr. Bright is an old friend of mine, and he's expecting me. These are two of my. This is my bodyguard. Trom. These two are my associates, lab assistants that I have promised to introduce to Dr. Bright and get a tour of the facilities, as they will be finishing their graduate studies soon. And Dr. Bright they're looking at positions and work study, and Dr. Bright has been very generous in allowing us to have this opportunity to study to tour the facility. My colleague here is very correct. If you cause any problems for Dr. Bright, that's a poor reflection on you, not us. And go ahead, and with the extra, that is a 6.
Oh my god.
Thank
Sorry.
you, Asher. Thank you, Parker, for
Thank
rolling
you.
above a 4.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Archie, because it
Thank
was
you,
the
Archie.
second die.
Also, with all of these desperate rolls, make sure you're marking experience.
Oh yeah.
Right.
For desperate. So for Tristero, that's in the study. For Parker, or in the insight. And for Parker, that is in resolve. So the secretary leans her hands down, breathes. Wait here a moment. Calls the secondary secretary to watch the desk, and you. Disappears into the back. As that's happening, Archie's like, going the position? Do I need to do the seizure? He's kind of holding the glass of water. It's shaking just a little bit. He's like, do I need to do the...
No, I don't. Nope, I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
Professor, please. Thank you for the water, just like taking it so his hands are not visibly shaking.
Yes, of course. About 5 minutes pass, and the secretary comes back with a doctor. The doctor has very short, kind of spiked hair, wearing large round glasses. His face is somewhat annoyed. He's wearing a white lab coat. He's very clean shaven. Around his neck, he's wearing kind of you see he's on one hand on his coat, there's a badge, and around his neck, he's wearing kind of a simple necklace. Right, what's the... Doctor, and he kind of extends a hand to Archie. Dr. Bright, Dr. Dalmore, it's been so long. You sent me a message earlier, I believe. I didn't realize you'd be coming so soon, or I would have alerted the facilities more. I thought I must have gotten the dates mixed up. It's fine, it happens. But these are my associates, he says, gesturing to you, lot, who are here to... I'm here to show them about the facility and show them around. And this is my guard, Trump. Right, to that end, could we, is it, he kind of gestures at Dr. Bright, is it like a free tour? Can I show them based on my historical, or are we going to be, why don't you join me for a little bit, Dr. Bright says, and I'll start showing you and your students, more like research assistants, around, he says. And he takes you through the front door, the secretary looking incredibly annoyed, peeved, and you see her kind of like tap a desk and then say something to the other secretary, and that secretary goes off. I would say the most observant of all of you, generally being Spectre, out of the corner of her eye, you can see that secretary talked to a security guard who nods and seems to relay something to another security guard. And you're still in a desperate position because you are now being watched. But you're in the front door, and you find yourself in a large entrance kind of foyer facility. There's kind of this lovely bubbling fountain in the middle, and with a bench and a chandelier, and it's kind of a tile flooring. And you can see that on this lower level, there's a nice little cafe over here, and there's a break room with some coffee stuff. There's kind of very open floor plan over there, and there's kind of some staircases. Like, right, so for all of you who are interested in joining us, we have a rather, getting a job at the ministry here is not easy, mind you. Like, you have to have decent, but I'm sure studying under Dr. Balmore, you've had plenty of your accolades are probably quite spectacular, to say the least. But suffice to say, this is kind of the benefits. The cafe over there is all you can eat. Really, it's free access. There's not really, as long as you have your badge, there's no need to pay. Over there, the cafe, it's not the cafe, the break room. Decent coffee. Not up to my standards per se. And as you kind of all look over there, you look that it's like very fine Eruvian coffee kind of a thing. It's just the standard break room coffee kind of a thing. So it's not really what I keep at home, of course. It's not my daily kind of stuff, but it's decent stuff, especially on a long shift. Really can hit the spot. And then and he just kind of keeps going on. And he appears to be a very talkative individual who's quite taken with you. What are we doing?
At some point, I do nudge. Like, I kind of saddle up next to Mort, and I just nudge him and see if there's a way that I can make him aware of the fact that somebody's watching us, like the security person.
Yeah, I'd say that's... As a gang, you have hand signals and like things like that. You've worked with each other a while. You're like, you're kind of like eyes on us kind of a thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Figure out like number signs, and that's like the pouring of the clock of which there's somebody.
Do we know what Dr. Bright has worked on in the past at all, and what other projects have been like released under Bright's name?
Yeah, I would say that you would know basic information of things that have been publicly released that Dr. Bright has worked on, but only because Archie told you. And that's not really, it's not that it's not public information, it's just that it's not the kind of thing that ends up in the newspaper, and it's public record, but you'd have to go find it kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's worked on a number of things. His most overcoming kind of his greatest achievement so far has been the formula for a stronger foundational concrete to help prevent Duskfall from sinking like Venice. Kind of idea. So that's the idea.
Did we have time to come up with so we're coming in to tour the facility. Was there another angle we were going to pitch as well? Just like Formula 451 research, or maybe information about the firebugs? I'm trying to find like another way to get leverage to keep Dr. Bright busy, and also maybe even bring us to his office.
Yeah.
If you want, you can try. You tell me. How do you want to leisure that? What are you saying? What are you doing?
You can probably connect it in with the concrete project, specifically thinking like you're doing so much to help, obviously, the city of Duskfall. I know there's been a lot of arson issues lately. It feels like. Mm-hmm. Have you had any ideas or thoughts on how to resolve that problem?
Yeah.
You can probably go.
Yeah, I would call that a sway roll from one of you, if the other one wanted to take the stress to help or use ability or something of that night.
Yeah. I got a 2 in sway.
I got 1. I've been like, I don't know why I've used sway so much today, and it's worked for me. But at the same point, I should not be using it.
Yeah.
I'll take the stress to help you.
Okay. What is a devil's bargain I could also use? Or could I use a piece of equipment to get like an extra bonus of just like, I've been looking at what you've been doing, kind of comparing notes about recent arson things. I really want to pick your brain about how to prevent stuff.
Public access documents, you can look at some of the basic infrastructure documents and city planning ideas around the concrete. You can use that, yes, to give yourself a bit of a bonus. So you're still in a desperate position. You get a bonus die for that. I give you a bonus die for our lovely. Actually, I give you a bonus die for this, obviously, for the stress that Spectre's taking. Documents is going to upgrade it from standard to great. Great effect. So
I'll change that out. Cool. My heart is like palpating through my shirt right now. Like, I'm glad the camera's cutting off, because I feel like you just like cartoony, just great.
All right.
What what would a devil's bargain look like in this?
A devil's bargain would look like that. It would be that if you roll poorly, basically your devil's bargain is this. It's a two sides of the same coin. Neither of them's great, but you might get what you want out of this. On the fell side of this, if you roll poorly, he might think you're incompetent and start thinking that, oh, this isn't really worth my time, and speed through the rest of the tour. If you roll well, he might think that you in particular are overly competent and want you to stick with him the whole time, and suddenly you might be attached to the hip to Dr. Bright for the rest of this.
I'm hoping that I roll well because I would like to stick by Dr. Bright because, good professor, good doc, well-known person. Might have some good stuff to steal and also other ideas. I'll take that devil's bargain. I'll take a 5. I will take a 5.
All right. So, your 5 is definitely very successful here as you start talking about concrete as well as the recent arson and the like. Dr. Brights continues to talk. Well, yes, actually, there's quite a bit of research that we're doing right now into that matter as well, but it's good insight into that because we are looking into foundational aspects that can help prevent fires before they even start. And as you're kind of like talking, as you're talking to him, you kind of get very close to him and like cozying up. So your consequence here is that as you do that, the one you have to resist, the consequence you would resist would be an insight resist here, if you choose to do so, is that the security guard doesn't like the way you look and kind of just starts pacing, following you at kind of a meal distance, maybe like 20 paces back kind of thing.
Following me specifically?
You specifically.
God.
Archie's continued sitting there, like looks over at Asher at the time.
Yeah, knowing what Archie is going to do, I don't want this guy following us. I will roll to resist. I have enough space to do that, so.
All right. Give me all right, take 1 stress.
There we go, 5 and 2.
All right. So, but Archie, as you're talking, Dr. Bright kind of looks at Asher. No, or no, all right. But so yeah, you kind of like are able to back off just enough that there's this security guard who like eyes you a little bit, watching the group. Nods to another security guard who's also gonna keep an eye on as y'all go, but doesn't move. Stays where he is. Keeps an eye on you. Kind of thing, but he ain't following you. Right. So, Dr. Bright continues. Kind of looks at Mort, aka Trom. You're the bodyguard? He says, looking at Archie. Yes, this is my bodyguard, Trom. Right. So, Trom, I assume this is kind of going over your head. Feel free to, space out. Anyway.
Way ahead of you.
But he's like, he takes you upstairs. Now this is where the real work is done, kind of a thing. This section is on the far ends. We've got the administrative handling where a lot of our records and things are kept of past experiments and consultations. They are effectively in their own right. Each one is its own, I'd say, scientific library of experiments that have been held here in the Ministry of Preservation for the last 200 years. So if there's something you need to access there, they're called administrative assistants, but honestly, it's almost better they have the credentials of reference librarians they could be working in high-end spaces. They are very good at their job. So if there's ever anything you needed to consult on previous experiments, that would be the places to go. Likewise, one of them goes to these 2 labs, one on each side of the floor, labs A and B. and then the administrative library over here goes to labs C and 4. So it kind of all works its way out in the end. Now I can't take you into the labs themselves. That is a safety violation and could potentially be a hazard not only to yourselves but to the experiments that are ongoing. What I can do is I can take you by some of the viewing windows for the inside of and then I can also take you through the administrative library. So why don't we start with? I'll tell you what. Let me take you to the viewing window for my lab in specifically. He says. And he kind of walks you around this hallway that goes around the upper edge. And the viewing windows look out into the hallways where people are working, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. He's like, so like from just the hallway, you can look in and you can see in lab 4, there's like 3 research techs or scientists of some degree in there at various working. This is my laboratory. Normally, of course, I'd be in there as well, working alongside them during my shift, but I get to spend time with you lovely individuals and show you time. It's a nice break, mind you. But this is where we're currently working on our most recent project. I can't give you too much information on it, but it is something in the prevention of, as we talked actually a little bit about earlier, fire prevention, stopping it where it starts in the foundations and in the infrastructure, having things in place that help are more fire resistant and the like to prevent burnouts and the like, so that in the event that a fire does break out, while things inside might still be destroyed, the integral structure of the building maintains.
Looking into the windows, how many people are in the lab right now?
There are, you can see 3 in there.
And can we, as we're going through is there a door or anything?
There is a door. There is a door that is at the front of the lab that we see, and it does appear to be like it has a very significant lock on it, and the way that you can see it is, and he actually is like, so this actually, for security reasons, these doors automatically lock every time they're closed from both sides. In order to open it, you have to have a key, and in order for the key to get in. And also the keys that are used, and he kind of pulls out a keychain that you see is basically like attached to him and his coat. He pulls out a key ring, and you see a very elaborate key with like 6 prongs going on the top and then 3 on the bottom, kind of a thing. Is the keys have been specifically designed to kind of be, they're anti-lock picking mechanisms, like they're not like, now don't get me wrong, nothing's perfect, but when at the end of things, in terms of if you say, for some reason, a thief managed to get this far into the Ministry of Preservation, which I don't even know how they could possibly do that. Like, we've seen the security guards, and those people stay on rotation even when there's not regular staff here. There's, at minimum, like, to get it past all these military police and our security measures is unlikely, to say the least. But in the event that they do, these locks are, they're lockpick resistant. They're not perfect, but your standard lockpicking kit isn't going to cut it. You're going to need something of a very high quality and someone with an immense skill, and even then it will probably take them a solid number of minutes just to get past that. With most locks, a skilled locksmith can get through in seconds. This, we brought in one of the finest locksmiths in the city, took him a full 4 minutes with his best tools to get through. And that was, and he almost had to just break the lock to get in, basically. So anyway, we take security very seriously here. As you can see, and he gestures that there's also a military police guard who's just standing next to the door. And who kind of like is eyeing you as they've been doing. Anyway, but in here, this is where my research goes on. But there are similar labs throughout, and it'd be functionally the same site. The lab setup is more or less the same. We keep things fairly safe. You can also see he kind of like gestures. That said, that while they are a closed system, he kind of gestures. There's ventilations that move throughout the entirety of the building and back into the central corridor to make sure that airflow stays consistent. That is very important in a lab setting because fumes, as you would probably expect. Now, if you follow me, let's go to the executive library. I'm gonna keep talking as Dr.
yeah.
Bright unless somebody...
right. Yeah.
Looking at the vents, is that big enough for a small person to fit through? Just at a glance.
Oh,
It is big enough for, I would say, a specter to fit in.
that's fine.
But it is small enough that a Tristero would get stuck.
You know, I don't even need to be in there.
Nope. This is coming down to me, I think.
Yeah.
Archie, I'm thinking Archie.
Right. Let's make our way to the executive library, my friends.
On the off chance this pops up, can Pyro burn through a lock?
Pyro is closer to when it is ignited. It's not like acid. It's not going to burn through the lock. You would have to ignite it, and then it would be a little more akin to like liquid C4.
Reach and clear works too. That's fine.
So, to say the least.
Really,
Anyway,
just backup plan.
so he starts taking you towards the administrative executive library over to the side closest to his lab. I feel like someone was making gestures to Archie. Like, what's the...
I think before we leave this space, or like closer maybe to the door for the library, just to kind of keep it close to that. Looking at Archie trying to make eye contact with him, I think it's go time for him and his distraction.
Right. So Archie like sees the signal and is like, yes, and like he kind of fiddles. Like you see him like surprisingly deftly, like his thumb just goes click, and the ring just kind of clicks open just ever so slightly, and a thin white powder drops into his cup of water, and he closes it again and takes a sip. And as he's taking this sip, he looks up. So, Dr. Bright, for the sake of my compatriots here, would you... And then he kind of like falters for a second. Dr. Dalmore, are you all right? Yeah, I'm quick. It hits the floor and starts...
Like immediately catches him and also just goes through the general procedure of like treat like an OD and set them right.
Yeah.
So you immediately catch him, set him into position, and you see as you catch him, Dr. Bright, like his eyes open and he like his coat like flies open. He immediately seems to go into some kind of he basically goes into first aid mode. He's like, Dr. Dalmore, my goodness, and he kind of gets down and he starts doing
hold the legs,
holding the legs, making sure that he's not biting his tongue. He's putting a pillow underneath the head, kind of a thing. He kind of gestures to the nearest security guard. You bring me kit 3 down the hall, kit on the wall. I'm going to need 3 cc's of the stabilizer in there, please. And he sends the guard off running, like just on instinct. What are we doing? Archie is having a seizure on the floor. You are outside the door of the administrative library.
And not far back is the door to the lab, correct?
Not back and around the corner.
Back and around the corner. Okay. Yeah, Asher's gonna make an attempt to, because we saw the actual physical key that can get us into the lab on his person.
Yes.
There is a guard in that room as well.
In front
outside.
In front of it.
Could it be that the guard in front of the door got sent down the hall at that point? Because
no, because this was the guard closer to the library because we've gone around the corner at this point.
Gotcha. Shit.
Anyway,
all right, Asher.
Yeah. So my current thought is to go steal that key, because then they won't question me necessarily if I have a key and if I say I'm doing something for Dr. Bright. Is my current hope. Because clearly, if I have his key, I'm doing pretty good. I must be trusted. So I was gonna try to see if I can't lift the key off of his person, and then later try to put it back.
That would be a finesse roll.
If this doesn't work, then we'll look at the vent.
Yep. I will help out by like basically adding that like distracting touch with the doctor. I'm like, what do you You're going to inject a stabilizer. What's in the stabilizer? He's got some allergies.
Okay, so you're gonna use foresight for this?
Yeah.
So you're gonna use that's your first use of foresight, I believe.
First use. Yep.
Yep. All right, so you have a bonus die, Asher.
Cool.
So on that for this, and you see that Dr. Barcy. Yes, I'm aware of his allergies. There is no. Last time I checked, there's not any shellfish in the stabilizer.
Not just shellfish. Oh god. Okay. Not just like that kind of allergy, but like the basic chemical make. What's
I
in
know
the
what you're
stabilizer?
saying, and it should not be any shellfish allergies. Anyway, let's see this roll. That is a 6. Very
Amazing.
nice.
Incredible.
Perfect. So as he's kind of distracted and the guard is nowhere to be seen in this one, don't forget to be marking your experience, by the way, on these rolls.
For desperate. Yeah.
For any of the desperate rolls. You manage to pilfer the key into your hand, just like it slides it off the ring. It takes a surprising amount of doing. It seems like a pretty secure ring, but you're pretty good. And you slide the key off down a sleeve of your dress.
Perfect.
And then
because I'm like leaning over, like, because obviously I had to do this.
Mhm.
Oh god, I'm going to be sick. I have a really bad reaction to people when they start seizuring. And she starts pretending like she's going to throw up. Where's the bathroom?
Trom, can you get her to a bathroom, please? Try to also get you downstairs.
Yes, absolutely. Are you sure you're going to be able to keep him safe?
Yeah, no, but we're in a secure facility, man. Come on.
All right. It will be fine. Give me. I'm gonna call that a sway roll from Asher.
My sweat rolls. Yeah.
Aid from Tristero.
Okay.
Okay. Give you a second use of foresight already. All right. Let's do this.
No, I'm actually paying the stress for this one.
Oh, you're paying the stress for this one. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're running with it. How long can my luck last?
It's a 5.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
5. So 5 is a success. 5 is a success with consequence. The consequence here for you to resist, if you so choose to resist it, is that the consequence to resist is Dr. Bright, as the security guard returns with the first aid kit, is like, yes, you show them the bathroom over there. Like, instead of just him saying, he will tell the security guard to take you. So if you want to resist that, that would be.
Yeah, but I want to use my special armor because I've got shadow, which means I can resist a consequence from detection or security measures.
That is correct. You absolutely can use that. So
Specifically security measures.
you may expend your special armor to resist the consequence. So please do.
There's a reason why I took this because I knew I would need it.
Yes, absolutely. So go ahead, mark your special armor. Yes, the bathroom is down the corner, around the hall, facing inward, just past the lab. It's kind of like, and as the guard is returning, give me that. And he kind of like starts going in, and you see him start pulling out like a syringe and a small vial of something, and starts pulling.
Oh God. Okay.
Um.
Mort and I head down around the corner.
Yep. We're going.
All right. So Mort and Asher, you go around the corner back around the corner where with Asher pretending to be getting sick. And as you get around the corner, it's the same sight. The security guard's kind of like looking down. Yeah, no one's called for him yet, so he's not moved because this is his post. But he seems a little even more on guard, on edge than he already was.
Yeah. The man around the corner, he's having a seizure.
They were calling for security guards for help.
Dr. Bright has something in his lab. I've got the key to get into the lab, so that way I could go grab what he thinks is needed right now.
It's gonna be another sway roll.
I know it is.
Can I help?
You can take a stress to help. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is it just one?
Just one stress.
Cool. I will do that.
Like that again. I am gonna single-handedly in this entire session eventually be able to upgrade I'll be able to upgrade Sway by the end of this because of all of the desperate Sway moves I've been doing. I know it goes in Resolve, but
yeah.
God.
Oh yeah. All right. So give me. Do you want a Devil's Bargain? Do you want to push yourself? What's the?
Oh, I'm not pushing myself just in case I need Ghost Veil because I only have so much I can do. Because I'm planning on getting in there and Ghost Veiling for long enough to copy this down. so I have to extend it by enough, but then I only have one little itty bitty stress left. Like, thank God for that extra piece of stress we get right now.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm banking on. What's the devil's bargain in this case?
Devil's bargain in this case is... Devil's bargain is the military police will confiscate the key and let you back out when it's time for you to leave.
That would not be good. Okay, we're gonna run with the 2 and see, because it's been doing me okay so far. Although this could be where it goes wrong. Let's find out.
Oh, that's a crit.
2 6s.
Double 6s. So crit means the effect is a step greater than you already had it. So first off, remember to mark that experience.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Crit Crow lives within me right now. The spirit of Rue is with me.
Rue is with us.
That is all.
In Crow we trust.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so that is Asher. You so with that upgrades the effect to security guards. A seizure.
Yep.
Oh, and he kind of like stands up. My sister used to get those. I think I know how to deal with this actually. Let me yes. You have a key, right? Dr. Bright said there's something in his office. In his office? Yeah. No, in his lab. You said there's something.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Just.
I'll be 2 seconds.
You're on your best behavior. There's there's lab techs in there. Keep an eye on you. I actually. And then you see he just kind of starts like not like running, but like light jogging down. And he's like, "Oh, Martha, I'm not gonna let it happen again." And he goes off on his way. And you're able to. I mean, it's a key. It unlocks the door.
It's a key. It unlocks the door.
So there are people inside.
There are people. There are 3 lab techs inside, and as you and Mort step in, all of them
look at me,
look up, and look incredibly guarded. I'm sorry. Can we help you? How did you get in?
Dr. Bright's key. Dr. Archibald Delmore is having a seizure out front. I'm grabbing something to help with the situation.
That is a command roll.
I was gonna actually offer an alternative. Could we get that like little shock trap thing that we got from the last mission? A copy of it from a Wick. Could we have a flashback for that? Be like, yeah, no, we want to make an order.
I would allow this. My only query with this is you're supposed to be quiet. You leave no traces.
That's fair.
No one's supposed to know. Are you sure that's what you want to do? I absolutely can.
Different plan, actually. Can Mort be the person that walks into the room? I'm behind him as I go to Ghost Veil.
That was going to be my suggestion before we walked in.
Yeah, that's probably a better plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have to do a command roll, it's better for you.
Yeah. Like I mean, I said you kind of walked in, so how you choose to walk in is up to you. So if it's Mort kind of walking in and you're doing your Ghost Veil thing, and you're doing Ghost Veil, how are you? So it's 2 stress base plus
one more
extra stress.
Extra
invisible.
Stress for the length, for the time, for minutes.
For the time.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not gonna be fully invisible. You're gonna be a shadow.
Yeah, but I'm gonna stay back behind Mort for a beat before I do anything else.
Okay. All right. So Mort, you step in as Spectre kind of steps in through the Ghost Veil and becomes basically your shadow until she leaves that shadow. Is the thing. Okay. Then she will seem like a moving shadow, but right now she only looks like your shadow.
So in that case, I'm going to move us into the room and towards the direction that he needs to. I guess the direction that we need to be, the direction that he keeps the thing that we need to copy.
You need to copy the formula, which you don't necessarily know where it is the thing.
Right.
But you do step into the room, and again, I'm sorry. Can we help you?
And I'm just gonna walk right in, like go to his desk and start rummaging through.
I will call security.
I'm here on orders. I'm the bodyguard of Dr. Archibald. He's having a seizure out in the hallway right now. I was told by your boss to come in here and search for. I forget what it was. Do you know what helps seizures? Maybe if you remember what helps seizures.
Give me a command roll.
Yeah.
Can I offer aid by giving Mort a fine cover identity to basically like impose like I am a commanding officer, ex-military commanding officer. I am supposed to be
He's
here.
wearing a blue coat outfit. Remember?
That's true. Captain of the blue coats. Like I'm supposed to be here. Special privilege kind of access. Or
fine cover identity. How are you doing that?
Just slipped it to his pocket earlier before he went in, just in case they happened to check him.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I would say you could give that. That would increase the quality, so his effect will be greater. So you will not be going with limited effect. You'll be at standard effect now with desperate standard. So you got that. If you wanted to burn the stress or the foresight, that could also be seen as helping him in that phase. So that's up to you, Tristero.
I will.
Okay. Stress or foresight?
Stress.
Okay. So you take
I want to keep
stress.
that foresight just in case.
Okay. So you've got so give yourself a bonus die and give yourself standard. Anything else that you're push yourself, devil's bargain? What are we feeling here?
This feels important. I feel like I can. Well, what would be a devil's bargain?
Devil's bargain in this case is the regardless of how well you roll, at least one, if not two, of the lab techs are going to come over here and be next to you as you're going through the desk and seeing whatever it is you're going through.
I feel like it's more worth it to push myself. That's where my gut was anyway. So I'm gonna push myself for another bonus die. I have one. I'm desperate standard +1. I'm gonna make it +2, right?
Yep. You're desperate standard +1, so now you're desperate standard +2 dice.
Okay.
Give me that command roll, Mort. Let's see the double 6. It's a 5. That's good.
Okay.
All right.
Still a lot
5.
of ones popping up on these dice, folks.
So here is what you've got. With a 5, I would say you're definitely command-wise. You're convincing to these people. They kind of look at each other. Yeah. Okay. There's a seizure. Doctor out there, but normally there's medicine in the first aid kits that are out in there. We're not sure what you need in.
He told me
here.
that he had a first aid kit in his desk, but if you know of a place where you can get something to help someone having a seizure, please feel free to do so. There's an absolute emergency happening right down the hall.
I'd say with the command roll, you can get one of them to leave to go try to help. No. Do you want them to leave is the thing, because the consequence here actually is going to be them leaving, because if they leave, then that means they'll be alerting Dr. Bright that you're in here.
I think I want to lean more, I guess, into what I was going for before, which was like, I'm just a bodyguard. What am I looking for a seizure? Like, you help me, inform me of what it looks like that I'm looking for in here.
And I got that. And so they will start helping you look. However, that is still your consequences that one will go to leave to try to help, because it's a consequence because you did get a 5. So if you want to resist that consequence, that is an insight resist, I would say, Mort.
Yes, I would like to resist that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me an insight resist.
Okay. Is there anything I can do for a bonus die?
Not really. A bonus die on resistance is incredibly rare.
Right. Okay.
2 stress.
Okay.
You take 2 stress.
Not too bad.
All right. So you are doing that, and the other 2 are like, chemical formulas. Chemicals this be chemicals. We need a stabilizer of some kind. We have stabilizers in here. Is there a first aid kit in here? I think there's normally a first aid kit. And you see there's 2 are very confused and concerned on themselves. Asher.
Yeah. As I'm acting as Mort's shadow, as we've kind of gone towards a desk of some sort, I am doing a survey to see if I would like to do a survey roll to see if I can figure out, get my bearings to see if I can figure out what I should be grabbing to jump under a desk and start copying.
Right.
Give me a survey roll.
Okay. Hold on. Everything is desperate.
Oh, right. Thank you for the reminder.
Shit.
Oh, golly.
I'm not having any luck with this.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm gonna say. You cannot understand anything that's on this desk.
Not surprised.
Is the thing. That's not surprising. We knew that from the beginning. However, you had a general idea of what was given to you by Archie of what you need to do, which is why you have a flash of insight and a start of an idea. There are two roads before you, because as you look up, you realize based on what Archie told you, there are two options in front of you now. One, you could steal a vial, but that's noticeable unless you can find a way to play it off like a vial wasn't stolen. Or, alternatively, as you look up with your survey, you look over and you realize that whatever the thing that they're working on most recently is going to be on that big whiteboard on the wall. And so either you need to find a way to copy down what's on the whiteboard, or steal a vial, or what's in a vial.
Do I see... I don't know if I see vials in this room. I probably see lots of vials of different
You
things.
see lots of vials in this room, all over the place.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
What color are the vials? Just out of curiosity, for my own sake.
All the colors,
I figured it's
the rainbow.
Shit.
I am not going to have a good...
There are powders, there are liquids, there are solids, there are gases, it seems, in some cases. You're pretty sure that one of those things over there is actually a plasma.
I am not going to be able to figure out which vial is the right vial. I have actually an entire backup plan to make it seem why... Because realistically, if I could figure out which kind it is, I could look like one broke. And that is my, like... Because I can try to find a way to fake some of the liquid. Anyways, or spill a little bit of it. But I don't know which one it is. So the whiteboard is, I think, my best bet.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to try to do is kind of sneak under a desk that's nearby that whiteboard.
Okay.
And see if I can, I'll say I took my subterfuge supplies, which includes blank documents. And so to start copying things down.
Yep, absolutely. So I would say you're going to give me, Spectre, a prowl roll for this.
Okay.
You're going to be at, it's still desperate, but you're going to be at great effect because you are currently invisible. And I'm going to give you a bonus die for the subterfuge supplies for the copying down.
Okay.
So that is where you're at. Beyond that, you have the options of pushing yourself. You can't push yourself. You're out of stress for that. You only have one stress box left, or the Devil's Bargain. Here is Devil's Bargain in this case. The Devil's Bargain is that you have a lot to write down, so by the time you finish writing it down, your invisibility wears off.
How much stress I got left?
I have 3 dice with this. All right, without the Devil's Bargain.
Okay.
I am gonna just go for it.
I was going to say, I can give you one more foresight to aid if you want.
Maybe you and Archie beforehand showed me certain alchemical
Yeah,
shorthands and stuff like
basically.
that to help me.
We quizzed you on just what shorthand looks like and had you write. There is a giant stack of papers on the boat, all in chicken scratch.
Absolutely. Give me, if you want to burn the foresight, absolutely. Give yourself the extra bonus die and give me that prowl roll, Spectre.
I am scared.
That is a 6.
There is a 6. Thank you, Tristero.
The fourth die was a 6.
Oh my
God. Well, it was, all of the dice were successes. It's just, the last one was without consequence.
Yeah,
Just
we
right
desperately
now.
need right now.
So, Mort, you are actively scrounging through this desk, kind of a thing. And then as you're kind of scrounging through the desk, one of the scientists kind of from a side wall is like, I found it, and like comes in with a first aid kit like in his hands, is like and starts like opens it up and starts and like pulls out a vial, and a syringe, and like pulls out like just like 10 cc's of stabilizer, just like he's like, I don't know how much this is gonna need. Fucking Dr. Bright will know what he needs based on his size and body weight. I've never seen the man in my life who is going
Thank
to
you. Thank you so much. You have no idea what this is going to do for my bonus. And then I'm going to start running, and I'm going to trip and slam it into the ground and try and shatter it. The syringe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a deception by physical prowess. That is a finesse roll, my friend.
Damn it.
Nice.
Well,
I'm trying to wreck something.
you're trying to wreck something. The problem is the thing you're trying to wreck it's not hard to wreck it. What you're trying to have trouble portraying is that this is believable. The wrecking it is not the issue. It's the believably falling and slipping and smashing it in a way that you didn't purposefully do it is the issue.
Okay.
So that would be a finesse roll.
Okay. I think I need to take a devil's bargain here because I don't have anything in finesse.
And I am unable to
Yeah,
help you.
your devil's bargain here is that you accidentally inject yourself with the stabilizer. Like, even if it smashes, you inject yourself accidentally with at least a little bit of the stabilizer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Yes? Yes.
Yep.
So desperate limited
Desperate
plus
limited
one.
+1.
Great.
Show us what you got, Mort.
Is there anything? No, there's nothing. There's nothing.
There's nothing. There's
I
nothing
believe you.
else.
There's nothing else. It's
Okay, here we go.
It's a 4.
Okay. Okay.
That is a success with a consequence. It's a success with a consequence here. Your consequence. So you're already injecting yourself.
Maybe going
The
through their
consequence.
mind of how many consequences can I stack
So
up
you're
here?
you're already injecting yourself. So the consequence here is a prowess resist. If you choose to resist it, where the stabilizer has a negative reaction with you because it turns out the stabilizer has a thing that you're allergic to in it.
What?
And as you accidentally inject yourself, I'm not gonna it's nothing that's gonna be of great detriment to you, but if you want to resist it, it would be a prowess resist against accidentally giving yourself a sudden on break of hives,
Oh golly.
which would be what I would call a temporary harm. So it would disappear on its own, but you would have more harm.
I feel like that's not actually that bad given the circumstance. So I'm going to say I won't resist it. and
Okay.
I'll take it.
Which means for now you have the equivalent of what I would call an additional level 2 harm, which means you'll take a -1 dice and less effect on any rolls you make for the rest of
Okay.
this job.
Great.
Anyway, so you trip, fall, smash it successfully in a way that looks believable while accidentally injecting yourself, and the scientists are there. You idiot! What have you done?
Oh god.
And then they look down and they see that your arm is starting to break out in hives, and they're like,
What is this? What did you do to me?
"We didn't do anything. You accidentally. He's having an allergic reaction.
What
Get the EpiPen."
What
And
even
he's
is
just like,
this?
and they start like going through, and they go through the first aid kit again, and they pull out the adrenaline pen, and they go, and suddenly, Mort, you feel great. You are hyped up on adrenaline. You don't feel the itching, but Everything is moving very fast, or maybe very slow, and you're moving very fast. You're not sure anymore. Spectre.
Yep. I'm just looking on in horror as
Focus.
I
Don't pay
copy
attention
down
to
the
what's going on
whiteboard.
You
here.
finished copying down. What is your exit strategy?
So Mort and I have done weird. That sounds. Sorry. Nope. Gonna stop that phrase before it comes out. We probably have a system in place for like leg taps of some sort of when I'm in kind of ghost mode to be the signal get out. Just so that I can become his shadow once again and kind of follow him out the room. So
Okay.
my
So you're-
whole intention is just like my
Yeah,
Morse
conveying
code
that-
for get out on his
Conveying
leg.
that to Mort is easy. Mort gets the signal. It's just suddenly Mort is like,
Yeah.
all right, let's. You know what? I'm good. Let's go. I gotta get out of here though. My boss is still having a seizure. I gotta. Is like for the exit strategy. And you forgive me for taking control of Mort there for a second, if you would, John.
Good.
But is like, I gotta go. You know, the fucking. It's no vial. Maybe there's another first aid kit outside. I gotta.
Thank you for helping
You're
with the
having-
hives. We gotta get out of here.
You're having an allergic reaction. Maybe you should sit down for a
No.
second.
Nope, no sitting down. God, it's all go, all gas, no brakes. Let's hit it. 3, 2, 1, go. I'm out of
Right.
here. I gotta go
And-
find another vial.
And you start speeding out of the room with Spectre in your shadow. What that is gonna be for Spectre again is another prowl roll, not to be spotted. Mort, if you wanted to take the stress, you can help. It would be 1 stress to help, but Spectre, that is gonna be a prowl roll. You
I
will
already have
be
2 dice, so.
yes,
no.
it will be desperate great again because you are still invisible. Since you had the extended amount of time. However, that is just about to end.
Yeah, pretty
um,
much. We're getting close to the end.
And so it's desperate great. And again, Mort, I hope you gave yourself the experience for the desperate finesse and the and any other desperate rolls you've been making, like the
Yep.
command one from earlier.
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So give me a desperate prowl. Your devil's bargain.
Yeah, what's Devil's
Sure.
Bargain? Let's hear this one out. Let's entertain this.
Let's entertain this thought for a second. Your devil's bargain.
I've been literally surviving on help from others at this point, and that's been what has made the difference in many cases today.
Your devil's bargain.
I might have a recommendation for one.
I'm willing to take a recommendation. I just thought of one, but I'm willing to hear you out.
Asher has been using this power of the Shadow Veil so often, so much, and has pushed it to the limit. She eventually has a part of her body become more shadow-like and is very visible.
That is a step further than I was thinking.
It's a devil's bargain. We need to get out.
It is a step further than I was thinking at this
It's either
juncture.
like a shadow-like streak of hair, or like
I'm gonna take that into consideration. I'm going to process it, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to change it into a new idea. Spectre, we're going to go with an idea very similar to that, in that, yes, the devil's bargain is if you take it for the bonus die, part of your body will become spectral. Part of your body that will become spectral specifically will be one of your eyes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wild.
Is that going to impact my vision in any way, shape, or form? Or is it just like I'm going
You
to
don't
look weird
know.
in one eye? Oh, I don't know. Whew.
look at it this way: you can either wear a cool eye patch, or you get to see the ghost field forever, and all the horrors with it.
You don't know if you're
All
going to be
the
able to see the
horror.
ghost field.
I
You don't
even
know.
I don't know.
You don't
what's
know if you're going to be
happening.
able to see out of that eye is the thing.
Eye patch forever.
In which case,
Cool eye
eye
patch.
patch forever could be really cool. Don't know how much Helene is into it, but we'll figure that out. And if not, it's okay. Other wives in the sea for me to go for. Anyways,
Mermaids.
I'm gonna take it. I mostly purely out of the curiosity aspect. Like,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
mostly just very curious as to what will actually go down. So I'm gonna say yes
Okay.
to that.
Take the devil's bargain. Give
Okay.
yourself the bonus dice. Give me the prowl
let's
roll.
see how
Desperate
this-
great. Mark the
Yep.
experience. 3.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Okay. So you have pushed this ability to its limits. To its absolute utmost of limits.
I've never
Mort,
stretched it this long.
Mort, you didn't take the. I was gonna say, Mort, you didn't take the stress to give that bonus die, did you? No.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't.
I didn't know. We kind of glanced over. I didn't know whether or not you wanted to.
I was considering it, but I'm
Like-
at such a dicey
Yeah.
spot.
You push this ability to its limits. You're not sure, Spectre, if you're able to hold it, and it is possible that a scientist saw you flash back into existence as the door was closing behind Mort.
Okay.
But who's to say this juncture? But as you do, you realize you're coming out of the ghost field, kind of out of the ghost field, and as you're kind of like your eye, and you don't realize that you are just crawling on the floor of a lab covered in chemicals of various types that you're not actually quite sure. Even if they were cleaning, there's always residue. And as you do, you're kind of like the residue seems to react poorly as you exit the ghost field. And for a moment, you get an absolute pain in just the side of your temple, right above your right eye. And then it's gone. And it feels a little better, but as you kind of open the eye, everything out of that eye, what you are faced with is an incredibly strange sight, because in your left eye, as you look out, everything is normal as far as you're aware, but out of your right eye, everything is monochrome with a slight shade of blue, and the dichotomy of it, of the overlap of the way that it doesn't line up, is that your brain suddenly is compensating. It takes a while, and it probably will take till at least after this job is done to fully adjust, but when you're fully adjusted, the whole world is just going to seem a little paler, a little more monotonous. Colors are going to be muted, and like there's a shade of blue over everything.
Okay.
You don't know what this means yet.
Cool.
For now, it's just making you dizzy as hell.
Oh yeah. So I,
but-
especially because I don't know that anything looks different. I'm actually gonna cover that eye and not do anything about it. I just like kind of cover it and kind of stumble out the
Mhm.
fucking door.
Yeah.
I'll bolster that. I'll just wrap an arm around.
Stepping back to where the seizure has been ongoing, Archie is conscious at this point. When you get back there, he is conscious. He's breathing easily. He has been given a glass of water that was not the glass of water that had his powder in it, because he was holding that when he fell, so it's gone. Don't have to worry about that. But he's breathing. He's conscious. Dr. Bright is next to him, kind of stabilizing him through all this. And Dr. Bright's like, "You're back. It's going quite a while, actually. Are you all right, young lady?"
They get these panic attacks from time to time whenever this happens.
My head. Oh god. Oh, do you ever just throw up so much you get a migraine afterwards? I just.
Not in many years. But-
It was difficult, and I was also trying to find some of that stuff that you were looking for. You told the guards to go get something for the seizure, and I took that as a cue to work on it myself. And I tried to find some, and then I fell over, and then it broke, and then it got into me, and then I got hives, and then your lab assistants helped the hives, and now I'm
Where
feeling
were you
very
looking?
jittery.
Wait, how did you get into my lab?
Sorry, I don't know what you mean.
You said my
Hey,
lab
hey,
assistant-
hey.
I told you I'm all over the place right now. There were lab assistants. I don't know where they came from. but they
Dr.
came-
Bright, hey,
Speaking of which, Spectre, are you trying to put the key back?
yeah,
Yes.
All right, and then Cole.
Especially while
sure.
Mort is going on about this, because it's kind of a distraction in this case. Once he no longer fixates on me being like, Asher's effectively pretending to be hungover, kind of, at this point, but you know, we're using that as our inspiration, method acting, if you will. But while Mort's going through with like the lab piece, I'm gonna try to put the key back.
Okay, that's a finesse roll. Mort, you're babbling. Tristero.
I'm also aiding. I'm kind of helping keep Dr. Bright distracted. Like, Dr. Bright, I think with all things considered, it looks like the professor has had quite a bad time. We're gonna help him up. We're just gonna go ahead and cut the tour short today. I am so sorry that this happened. I'm sorry for the inconvenience to your time.
Are you taking the stress to help?
Yes.
Okay, so bonus die on the finesse there.
Okay.
Mort, are you doing anything as you're babbling here?
I will take a stress to help in order to,
Okay.
as I'm continuing to
2 bonus
babble
die.
and
Okay.
Just try and keep him very, I guess, cross-eyed the entire time.
Where's the effect at this point? Back to still at standard, or?
The effect is desperate standard. You're still in a desperate position because now you're trying to convince a doctor to leave a patient.
Yeah.
Is the thing, and to allow you to take someone who just had a seizure out of his care.
I'm trying to just put a key back so we can.
Well, you're trying to put a key back.
I'm trying to
Everyone
put a key
else is trying
back.
to convince.
Yeah,
But
I'm just
you're
like,
still
his wife is gonna be concerned. We need to make sure she's okay with that. And thank God. By the way, I didn't realize that was 5 dice.
I
That
have
was
3
5
in
dice.
finesse, so
Yeah.
2
So
extra
the,
goes
the,
a
the
long
roll
way.
was 4, 4, 1, 4, 6. So with a 6, you're able to slip the key back into place in the correct position on the keychain it was before, because that was going to be your consequence to resist. Into the correct position on the keychain. And you're able, as you're kind of doing that, he's kind of like, no, slow down. He kind of like, and right after you do that, she kind of goes to his jacket and checks, and he sees, no, my keys are right here. He kind of looks at you more. Did you say you were in my lab? Like,
I don't know where. To be honest with you, my brain is completely scrambled right now. I'm going 1,000 miles a minute. I saw a door. I knocked on it. Somebody brought me somebody was asking what was going on. I told him about the seizure. It was all a whirlwind.
For Archie, you remember the guard you sent from the door? That guard has got Archie's head in his lap. He's like, "You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right."
Oh yes.
We did all right, Martha. We did all right.
Trom, that's
Okay.
Trom.
Okay. It's okay. He's like slowly patting Archie's hair and like combing it over and like keeping him calm.
Is this just straight adrenaline? Did they just hit me with straight adrenaline?
Kind of like the Dr. Bright likes like epinephrine. It's a synthetic adrenaline, effectively.
Woo!
Doctor, I think we just need to get all of these people home. I don't think any of us are.
I think I need fresh air. This is not really the job I signed up for today. Oh boy.
We definitely need to maybe cut this short. He kind of reaches into the first aid kit and hands you a cream for it. That is for the hives when the epinephrine run.
Thank you so much. It's cooling. It's got a cooling aspect to it. It's nice.
It does. Yes.
It's nice. I like this. Thank you.
It is an analgesic cream with a menthol in it.
It's tingly. Oh wow. That's kind of got. Oh wow. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Why don't we? And he kind of like gets both security guards to like help you down. He's like, normally he would have had you carry Archie, but you're not in a position to be carrying Archie, so they've kind of just like.
I can carry him.
Guards,
I could probably just fireman's carry. That's easy.
The two guards put Archie on a stretcher.
If it's one thing I have, it's energy. I got it.
They put Archie on a stretcher, and he is walked down back to the front desk. As you walk past the front desk, you see there's you, Spectre, look like you've got a terrible migraine covering your one eye. Tristero looks fine, actually. But
go figure.
Tristero looks fine. Mort looks like he's like on the verge of a panic attack, or like he's just finished running a marathon.
I'm simultaneously like holding Archie's hand, just like giving it a patting, like, "Hey, we're done. You did good," and also like rubbing Trom's shoulders at the same time with the other hand, just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. How do we do this?
Yeah.
Come on,
Just a
eyes
whole
look
bunch
weird.
of like, hey, thank you for the tour. I really would love to
Fine.
intern here.
Yes. No, absolutely. When the application process opens in like a month or so, put in your credentials. I don't think I ever got your name actually.
Ever since dance, by the way. Grad student dance, essentially. DANSCE.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I'll be sure to keep an eye out for it. Please make sure that Archibald gets somewhere where he's not going to get a concussion. Don't let him fall asleep. Anya will probably know how to take care of him. I believe that's what he said his wife's name is.
Yeah. She's really nice.
but-
If you ever have a party, reach out to her.
Sure, I guess. Anyway, like he's like, all right, well, take and like the secretary's behind my desk watches this like parade of Archie's on a stretcher, fucking Spectre's covering, Mort's like, woo, and is like bouncing, and he's got hives up his arms, and it's like just as you go by, just
I'm looking at the secretary. Lab safety protocols are a hell of a thing to follow.
She loves us.
but you are walked out. The stretcher is used to get Archie out the door, at which point he's like, I can kind of puts an arm around around Tristero, because Mort's overly energetic and Spectre looks like they have a headache.
I'm down the block.
Mort is like, this way, follow me, kind of a thing. But Archie's kind of able to like lean on Tristero, get us out the door, and as you're kind of getting out the door, he kind of looks at Tristero, did it work? Or it looks at, and then at Spectre,
And for the first time, Asher actually like looks up and like looks at both Archie and Tristero. So if you see anything, you are gonna be the first ones to see this.
I will take a
Is
stress
everything-
to not break eye contact.
Asher just, yeah. My vision is fucked right now.
Oh, good
but I
lord.
got something. I got the entire whiteboard written down.
Archie kind of reaches up to your eye, kind of for a second, Spectre, and is just like framing your face. Your eye is in the ghost field.
Cool. That's.
I don't know how to explain to you right now. My head's very dizzy after that, but like your eye is, for lack of a better term, your eye looks like a blue void filled with stars.
Oh,
Beautiful.
that's pretty.
Yep.
Making me dizzy.
Here, and
On
I'm
the
going
bright
to-
side, okay, good news and bad news for you, though, in that case. The bright side, people might not think it's that weird. On the lesser side, it probably is because might start thinking you're Taikarosi. Sorry,
Right.
Tristero, what?
Back.
What are you saying?
Let's go.
I was going
somewhere.
to offer you a handkerchief to like, if you want to like cover it, if you feel self-conscious about
And
it.
Archie takes the handkerchief and starts dabbing his forehead of the sweat.
And that's why I'm the group spider, because I have a second handkerchief.
Oh gosh.
All right, but you are able to make your exit and make your way back to the boat. Mort bouncing off the walls the whole
Jeez.
way there.
By the time we get back to the boat, Mort's just like, I think there's a pretty, it seems like a pretty significant crash after. I'm just gonna lay down right here, and I just lay down on the gangplank.
Which is unfortunate because Mort takes up the entire gangplank. So you either have to step on Mort to get in the boat or find a way to push him in.
You can.
It takes about 15 minutes
You
to
can just
figure
step
out
on
how to
me.
get Mort inside. But
Asher
your
at first
ultimate-
just sits on him, for the record. She just
This-
sits on top of him and just like holds her head. That's it.
I
For, like,
deserve
2
this.
minutes.
Okay, so we're gonna pick up the gangplank. We're gonna flop
Yep.
Mort
It
onto
just-
the
it
boat.
just- that was the eventual plan I was going to say y'all came up with. Is you pick the gangplank up and just Mort just slides down into the boat.
Great. Let me just go grab one of the blankets from inside real quick and just tuck Morton to bed.
Mort, for once, you are too tired for any kind of seasickness to set in.
That's all we can hope for.
But that is a successful heist, probably.
I guess.
Possibly? Yeah. Let's talk downtime.
Oh god.
Let's talk payoff.
Our metrics of success are whack, yo.
Your metrics of success are a little odd. So let's start with the bad news. The bad news is you get no reputation for this because you kept it as quiet as physically possible, and you're not telling anyone that you managed to break into the Ministry of Preservation despite the reputation that would get you, like enough to probably, with everything, take you up to tier 2, like with weak hold, but you can't tell anyone. So you don't.
That is actually kind of sad.
Yeah. You know.
Second bit of that is no one paid you for this. This was in order for you to acquire chemicals. And unfortunately, Asher didn't have moments to steal anything that would actually be worth any money either. So you get no coin either.
Today was pressing enough as it is on my skills, so...
I would like to take a flashback to take the fancy pen from Dr. Bright.
No. No, you managed, but you did manage to succeed in some manner and measure. And what this means for the future, Archie never fully explained though, but his idea is he's going to take this, synthesize it, and turn it into a formula with which he is going to make a coating for your armor, so that your armor will automatically resist, depending on how well he does, 1 to 2 harms worth of fire.
Oh, god damn.
Nice.
Which will be very useful for dealing with pyro dealers and the like. So this was a job not for coin, not for reputation, but for gear. Something that is going to make the next job much, much safer, easier, and profitable maybe, but definitely a moral and victory, especially for Tristero. We'll see.
You know, new level of success. I didn't quirk out this time.
Yeah,
I didn't get horribly injured.
Very
That is a
close on
success.
all of you.
Yes.
No quirks. Additionally, a bonus here. No heat. You get no wanted level, nothing for this. No one knows you did it, as far as you can tell. There's no heat that's built up, is kind of the payoff of not getting any reputation. Not a single damn person knows it happened. Maybe that's for good, maybe that's for ill. Who's to say? So let's talk entanglements, though. Your entanglements after this. You are a wanted level 2 at this juncture with 4 heat. That hasn't changed, but let's roll your wanted level to see. That is a 5 on the wanted.
I think the 5's a bad one.
Ooh.
Yeah, the 5's a bad one, ain't it?
I like this one.
Oh.
And I think I have the perfect person for it, Spectre.
Oh no!
Oh.
I knew it was coming my way at some point here.
The Unquiet Dead. A rogue spirit is drawn to you in the wake of your foray into the ghost field most recently.
Mhm.
You have become ever so much closer and closer to that ghost field, and now there is a spirit who has latched on, who has attached themselves to you. You have
Sure.
some things that need to be done now. Either this spirit is going to linger around you, cause problems for you in the future, or you can pay 2 coin to a railjack or a gondolier to exorcise it,
Okay.
or you can start a downtime project to get rid of it. But that's going to be up to you. with keeping in mind that y'all do have 4 coin in the vault right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I've got coin. I
Mhm.
would probably just sooner pay the coin to have it exercised as opposed to anything else.
All right. So you have a exorcist come and a railjack specifically from down in Night Market. Oh yeah, you got a ghost. I don't know who it is, but they're real attached to you. All right, hold on. You kind of pay him the money, and he performs this whole intricate ritual. As it does, the ghost seems to momentarily come into view for you, Asher. As it does, you see the ghost of an old prison guard.
Yep.
I trusted you. And as Jeff's spirit slowly dissipates into the void, onward into the Evermore.
This is why you don't date men.
Yeah. Well, you know, sex is my problem. I like dick too much.
This is what happens. You gotta go. They die, and then they fucking haunt you.
They're alive and they're haunting me, so I don't know. I mean,
Mood. Oh man. Anyways.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Anyway, thanks for the coin. Hope this helps. Take
Yeah.
care of yourself now, Missy. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the lakes and the rivers that you're used to. But that is our entanglement. Let's talk downtime activities, and we'll let Spectre sit with that for a minute. Let's start with Mort.
Yes.
Mort, how would you like to spend your downtimes?
I've got a couple things I need to do, and hopefully I roll better than I did last time.
You are stressed. You are injured.
I am majorly stressed.
All
And
right.
I think I want to try and take care of that stress first.
Is maybe the more pressing matter here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go. Is there anything interesting or creative that I can do besides the normal?
Well, your thing is obligation to any old member of your
Right.
crew. And the fact of the matter is that your obligations, some of it might have come back to haunt you a little bit recently with when you were thought about getting your old uniform out.
Yeah. I think maybe would it be like therapeutic to like burn my uniform? It would like I feel like
Yes,
there's a
I
part
would
of
call
me.
that therapeutic. Absolutely.
I think knowing that it could have helped us in this scenario, so ostensibly it could help us in the future. So I'm burning that potentiality along with this like thing looming over me. So I think that's gonna be the
Indulge
first.
vice.
Yeah.
And genuinely, with Indulge Vice, I'm going to, given what it is, how it is tied to your backstory, your trauma, everything, I'm going to give you a bonus die on this.
Whoa.
That's huge. Can you crit on Indulge Vice?
Yes, you can.
See it. Oh,
6. Clear 6.
6. Amazing.
So you go down to 3. Excellent. And your
okay.
second downtime.
That's so tricky. Because yes, 6 is kind of a blessing and a curse because it was at a weird spot where 6 would be almost too much where I'm questioning doing it a second time to get rid of the rest. 3 is probably fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And honestly, with the wound you have, given that our next episode, y'all, is our finale for this season, a lot of shit's gonna be happening. You might want to get that treated before you.
Yeah, we're gonna be in it.
Yeah, let's do second downtime. We'll get that knife wound healed.
Mhm.
All right, let me roll some fortune dice for your doctor as you go once more into the breach, dear fellow, to go see the lovely doctor that you acquired from the Damned and the Dimmer Sisters, giving you kind of the, just go see this man. He can help you. Dr. Avermice is a good doctor. So you go to see Dr. Avermice. You again?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got into a scuffle with a blue coat. Do you
You
want?
have hives.
Okay, yeah, but that's less. Don't worry about that. I have a cream for that. Actually, I might have run out of the cream. But don't. Just the knife wound is really. Let's
Knife
get rid of
wound.
that.
He gets his stitching needle out and like, all right, hold still.
I took the hives off because of the cream. Should I have left that on?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
No, you're good. All right, that is enough to clear the knife wound.
Sweet.
So go ahead and clear that knife wound. As he's like, all right, and he kind of reaches in and he pours a little bit more cream on the hives just to.
Oh, it is spicy. That is what I'll say.
Yeah, right. Don't get any knife wounds higher than this. Last thing I need is you getting one in your femoral artery or anywhere in this region. He gestures at your chest. All right, you good?
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you for telling
All
me
right.
not to get stabbed.
Sure. He throws you out. You do have money available. Did you want to do an extra downtime or?
I don't think it's worth it, honestly. So I'm good.
I mean, yeah, there's things besides recovering from stress and injury that you could do, but
That's true.
You can acquire an asset. You can start a project.
Yeah, or I can continue a project. Yeah, maybe I continue. I would spend a coin to continue my tutelage. Yeah, let's do that.
Your tutelage in terms of training or with the hunt?
With the hunt.
Okay, so burn the coin. After getting your knife wound cleared up and the hives having receded and the adrenaline having faded back finally, and you feeling normal again after everything that happened in that facility. You think back to that knife wound and hunting down that blue coat in order to take his uniform and the burning of your military uniform. And then you go to that old fighting ring where you know you meet with the hunt. And as you are entering into that ring, you kind of stand in the middle, in the darkness, seeing nothing. That voice in your ear. Taste of adrenaline in your veins at this point, boy. Adrenaline's a tool of the prey and the hunter. Give us that necessary spark, that first leap into action. But the crash ain't worth it. It's a double-edged sword. We're persistence hunters. What we do, what we seek to find, and the way we overcome that. That is our lot and our role. So it's time for lesson number 4. And you feel a needle prick into your skin and a flood of epinephrine going through your veins once more. Now calm it down. Take control. And I'm going to need you to give me I'm going to call it actually a prowess resist roll. It's not like you're resisting stress or anything, but this is you calming, using the energy of the adrenaline, putting it to your own needs. And how you roll on this will indicate how many checks I get to put into your little box.
Would you consider fighting off this shot to be a feat of physical force that verges on superhuman?
I would.
Okay. Could I maybe argue for like a bonus die with that? For not to be tracked.
Sure. I'll give you a bonus die for that. Sure.
Okay. So Prowess resists bonus die. Wait,
Okay. It's a 3, isn't great. We mark just a few, so you're not done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Made progress, but you're getting there, boy. We're gonna have to do this one again, I think. But for now.
Oh boy. Okay.
Now, little fun lesson for you. He kind of taps you on the top of the head, and you kind of get insight as to just a brief sense of something in the city. Something smells really good. And then it fades. Get some rest, Mort. Gonna need it in the coming days, I'm sure. A lot of skill. A lot of things are coming to this city, whether it likes it or not.
Most likely the latter.
And you're sent on your way, Mort. The epinephrine adrenaline still pulsing through your veins, but kind of calmed it a little bit, so you're not shaking like you were last time. You're not overly. It's gonna take you a long time to get to sleep tonight, though.
I'm gonna jog home.
Yeah, you're definitely jogging home to like burn some of it off. In fact, you don't just jog home; you do like a couple laps to kind of sweat it out. Tristero,
Hey,
how are you spending your downtimes? Your long-term project is handled, at least your biggest one that you're working on.
yeah,
You've got some stress to relieve, obviously, but
I'm gonna start with that stress. It's a little bit less being the gravekeeper, but maybe more of just helping clean up the church of the Weeping Lady. Maybe repairing a few pews, setting some candles upright, and finding some candelabras, and adding a new finish on them. Whole bunch of stuff.
all right.
Okay, 4's
We got
nice.
4. All right, so clear 4 stress.
Yep.
Now you still have 4 stress. Do you want to roll again?
I kind of want to push it a little bit. No, I know my luck. I have 6 spaces left.
Keep in mind again where you're going. You know what's happening next time. You might need every little bit you can get, but it's on you.
I'm doing
Your
it.
choice.
Of course.
All right.
Oh,
And that is an overindulgence.
Yep, roll that
Comes
table.
classic.
with a consequence. Overindulgence isn't a table. I just get to choose.
Oh.
Whoa.
Please
Now,
don't make me disappear for the next job.
You're not.
Yeah.
I am going to let you choose between these two because you're not disappearing for this next job, and with how you're not bragging, you're not because of how keeping this quiet. So your choice is either you get an additional entanglement for the gang, or your current purveyor of vice cuts you off.
Golly.
Oh god, I can see Brandon excited. So I'm gonna kind of talk through my thought process here. Here is one side of it where if we get another entanglement, it could be something interesting, be something very new, different, or we could just get cops on us again.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting off my purveyor. How the fuck do I burn the bridge with Lady Narya? With Mother Narya?
Is that the way you want to go?
Yeah, just Tristero is just really gung-ho. And just hold on, just a few minutes. Let me finish the
Tristero.
Hold on. Just give me 30 seconds. I just gotta set the arm on this chair, right? And okay. Hey. Hi. Hi.
Tristero. Have you taken any of our words from our last conversation to heart? Has anything I said resonated with you?
Yeah. I've asked for help.
Or
Yeah.
frenetic in energy. Your bags under your eyes have deepened.
I'll have you know I have gotten 5 hours of sleep last night for the week.
Sarah, my dearly beloved friend, I've come to the conclusion that you being here, she looks over at the gravestone of Lem, served to only deepen your anxieties, your animosities, and indeed your freneticness that has led you down again and again roads that I fear are not for your health. When I first invited you here, it was in the interest of helping you heal in the wake of Lem's death. But now I feel that all that has happened is that I have served to drive you deeper down the hole of his left when you lost him.
You gave me a place to think. This made me focus. It reminded me of everything we've done together. Like, are you kicking me out?
Tristero?
No.
From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you, everything you've done for this church, and you are always welcome back here. But for now, it is time that you find your own way, find your own light. And to that end, I am asking you, I am relieving you of duties as gravekeeper, and effective for 1 month, you're not allowed on the premises.
You can't do that.
I absolutely can.
He's gonna take care of his. The
graves have always been well tended before you became gravekeeper, Tristero, and they will continue to be well tended after. My concerns right now are not for the memories of the dead, but for the life of the living. She kind of puts a finger against your chest. And I
step back away from the finger.
She kind of brings her hand back in. I need you to think that whether or not this is what Lim wanted. But for now, I have to do what I believe in your best interests, even if you hate me for it. I'm sorry, Tristero.
I think Tristero just like stays quiet for a very long amount of time. How am I supposed to know what Lim wants when I barely even spent time with him when he's alive?
I'm not going to get anything else out of him while he's dead.
I think Tristero like takes the hammer in his hand, throws it against the pew, walks out the door and slams it enough to where dust like settles.
I'm going to narrate just a quiet scene here with Tristero having left. The hammer leaves a dent in the pew, but not enough to cause it any serious damage. Sorry, Tristero, your physical prowess is just not great. You got a handyman's hands, but even you can't bring yourself to break this.
Mm-hmm.
After you leave, Mother Narya stands alone in the church, staring at the stained glass window of the Weeping Lady for a time. I truly do hope that this is what was best for him in the end. And as Mother Narya is saying that, there's an apparition hanging next to her of a young man, pale, burns along his body. Thank you, Maria. He spends too much longer here, haunted by my memory, if not by my spirit. He's more and more likely to become like me. I did what you asked. That is all I can say. He is out of my reach now, for any help I could have given. He wasn't taking it anyway. Tristero winds his way wherever he may go, whether it is back to the boat or somewhere else to see his ends. But he will have to find a new vice for our finale.
I do have one more downtime action.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah, you have the bonus one.
Yep. Calculating. I would like to storm off, go to the boat, grab the fox mask, write a letter to the Dimmer sisters, and ask for an appointment for basically imbuing something.
Okay.
And trying to focus on a new project to distract himself, he goes to basically imbue the fox mask with enough energy to basically give it to Echo and wipe his debt with that.
Okay. I've started you a new long-term project that is to imbue the mask, or rather to have the Dimmer sisters imbue the mask, but because you lack the proficiency and Crow has not finished their training yet in that matter. So, I would say starting off, make me a sway roll just for the convincing them to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
For clocking it in. A 5. All right.
Nice.
So we will mark a few ticks there, but you will have that new project. Are you going to spend a coin on any more downtimes? Or are you?
Spend a coin. No, I can't get that done, can I? With a 6, it goes to.
If the crit you could, but with a 6, it goes to 3. It would go to 5.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have another project to do. I take 2 of my one of my coin. I'm going to put that in the vault.
So you take one of your coin, you put it, you put a coin in the vault. You don't, not even into your stash or anything. You put it into the group vault.
I need that spare coin for later, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right, and last but not least, Asher, lovely Asher, who had such an interesting time. How would you like to spend your downtimes?
Oh, we're going to the casino, but we're avoiding Helene actually because we're not ready to explain this yet.
Okay.
So we are, we're gonna go gamble.
Give me an indulge vice roll. Let's see.
It's a 5.
All right, move 5. So you should have 4 left. So it's up to you whether or not you want to do it again.
Roll the dice. Roll the dice.
You have another downtime action. Again, how much stress do you want going into this next episode?
I want no stress going into this. That's the problem. So I am going to indulge again. I think we're just having one of those. It becomes one of those nights where we're just like, we're going hard at the tables. And at one point, like, Asher probably should have tapped out, but then chose not to. And so we're going to indulge vice again and, hope
it's a 4.
Pretty much, yeah.
Double 6s. It's a crit. It's a crit. A crit would automatically just clear all your stress. Would have been good last time.
It would have been great the last time.
Does it come back around and instead of being 6, it's just clears all stress and nothing more?
No.
That's a great question. Let me check something. No, because that's a house rule on me. Normally it would just be a 6. So You know what, though? I will say, I think that because it's my house rule that a crit clears all stress, I will let you just clear all stress without a consequence. That's my rule, is the thing. I'm
I
not going to
appreciate that.
punish a critical success.
Thank you.
All right.
We're gonna leave it there. I think we're not gonna spend coin on anything else. We just wanted to try to get as de-stressed going into the next job.
Okay. So you spend some time rolling the tables, rolling the dice, clearing out your stress, things of that nature. Eileen does find you eventually. That's the thing. You're in her casino.
I know. Like, it's a stupid move, but also.
Asha, darling, how?
Hi, darling.
Hello, love. Are you all right?
Just peachy. Doing pretty good at the tables tonight, so I mean, I'll take it.
Yes, but are you?
Oh, this is a fun complication.
Okay.
I can still see. I mean, mostly now. I think it's finally starting to level out. It's a little.
Okay. And you're all right.
I am.
All right.
Thank you for the concern.
Looks you over. There's this very tender moment of her holding your face, looking at you for a moment, looking at your eye. Some blue lipstick would suit you quite nicely. Come along. Then you still, I don't know why you chose to hang down here. Let's go to the real tables upstairs. Come down, darling.
Okay. Follows along.
Right. And with that, our downtimes are done. And that is closing the book on episode 7 of Fire in the Dark. Thank you all so much for joining us. Before we do outros, we've got a couple of announcements that I'm going to run through. First announcement is in 2 weeks, we will not be having our finale of Fire in the Dark as would normally happen. In 2 weeks, I will actually not be available. And unfortunately, I'm a necessary element in this game. So it means the game's not going to happen without me here. So instead, we'll be having, with the same cast and crew, minus me, there will be a charity game here on the Huntsman's Hydra, raising money for, I believe, disability rights. Raising money for disability rights, as it is Disabled Awareness Month, Disabled Pride Month, and all of that fun stuff. So there'll be a money charity game. Do we know what game is being played? I'm looking at Cole specifically, but
we have a few ideas right now. Producer Brandon?
We're gonna nail that down this week because
Right.
I need time to make promos.
Yeah, so there'll be promos out for what's happening and things of that nature. But if you're interested in that kind of a thing, absolutely come by the channel at the same time in the same place with the same lovely people, minus one blue-haired NB. But beyond that, 2 weeks following that, at the beginning of August, we will be having our episode 8, season 1 finale of Fire in the Dark, as our crew finally goes to confront the firebugs with everything said and done, with all the information that they've gathered. And maybe bring an end to the scourge of pyro on the streets. It is yet to be seen. Beyond that, my mind just suddenly went blank. I was in the middle of saying something, but that will be at the beginning of August. Yes. Following that, we will be on hiatus for a time. We will be doing pre-recorded interviews with the cast and myself, talking about the sum up of season 1, that will be premiering on Huntsman's Hydra semi-regularly after that, leading into season 2. So you can look forward to that, as well as getting ready for all the things in season 2.
Real quick thing on that. Patreon and Ko-fi members will get all of those interviews and transcripts early and potentially be able to ask questions. We're working out the logistics for that last part.
Fair enough. Absolutely. So if you're interested in that and learning a little bit more about the people behind the characters and what led us to make the characters, or in my case, what led me to craft a story that we're in the various characters, then feel free to drop on by when those premiere, or if you're a Patreon or Ko-fi member on the Huntsman's Hydra, get the early access to that and potentially an access to submit questions. I've got a couple of personal announcements, but before we get to those, let's do our outros, starting with, of course, in opposing order to intros, Cole.
Hey there, y'all. Again, I am Cole, aka Ice Cold Brew. I played the wonderful Tristero Valentine, who is in crisis at the moment. But you can also check me out on twitch.tv/icecoldbrew, or watch me tweet about stuff on Twitter. You can also listen to me and my friend Menara Linehan talk about some amazing tabletop games over at Inside the Table. Again, that's at Inside the Table. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor FM as well. Yeah.
All right. John.
Yes, I'm John Downey. I played Mort. You can find me on Twitter at Real John Downey. That's COWNEY, and I spell John with an H. That's just spelling opposite. It's fine. So you can find me on Twitter at Real John Downey. I am the co-founder of the Outlaws Network, which is a podcast network with a lot of great products that you'll enjoy. If you go to my Twitter, you'll be able to find the link in my bio, and that'll take you to everything the Outlaws Network offers.
Absolutely. Cole, did you have something else you forgot? Or
It's for a Friday game, but I think Brandon's also in it, so.
Okay.
Yes,
we'll
I will. I will talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I might be talking about that actually before we even get there. The wonderful Parker.
Hi, I'm Parker. I've been playing Asher Spectre Claw, who has not only anti-demon tattoos, but now a ghost eye. We are looking real fun now, which is wonderful. You can find me over on Twitter and Twitch at the Pixie Parker. I play dating sims on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right now, we are going back through Arcade Spirits and New Challengers because we learned that there is a polyamory achievement, and we are going for it, baby, and I am in love with it. You can also catch me on my Twitch next Saturday, where we're going to try something new and do a baking stream. Am I entirely tempted to do the dessert as earlier featured in this episode? 112%. So am I thinking that through now? You betcha. This is going to be entertaining. So I'll be on Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, I think that's all I've got going right now. Question mark. I'm forgetting something, I'm sure.
Yeah, on Saturday, go to Parker's channel to watch the hot pan with a hot pan.
Yeah. Not I'm stealing that.
You need that needs to be the title.
That's the title.
Yep,
That is the
it's in
title.
the
Thank you.
You're stealing it from me. I stole it from a TikTok of yours from last year originally.
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
forgot I did that.
Anyway, hi, I'm Jaimie Wolfe. I have been your GM, and you can find me on my own channel. I do art and variety streams. You can catch me this Wednesday back with Brandon doing our Pokemon Soul Link that we've been doing. We finally made it past Sprout Tower. We did not fail and get a game over on the first episode this time, so we're on a real run for once. We're gonna make it. There was a Dialga that almost ended us, but you know what? We're getting there. Anyway, beyond that, so that's this Wednesday on my channel and Brandon's at Ashenworks. Beyond that, this Thursday, you can find me on Uncle Nix's channel for his subathon, where I will be playing Sea of Thieves with him and a lovely other crew of individuals. And then beyond that, going into the rest of the weekend, I will be both moderating and playing in games over on D&D Jordan Lee's channel for Games for Change, raising money for Color of Change as a charity. So if you want to come on over to Jordan's channel to watch some great TTRPG games that are going to be played with the likes and of the wonderful Ice Cold Brew, who is directly to my left on screen, I believe, right on screen, as well as our producer Ashenworks, myself, and a whole mess of other fantastic people such as Waffles Maple Syrup, Zerjester, just people across the board. Like you get to see Dragon Gym, just a lot of fantastic content creators, TTRPG players, and things. There will be a variety of games from D&D. There is a Blades in the Dark game that is going to be co-DM'd by our own Ashenworks with Duval King Jacob of the Amphitheater. There is also going to be a game of Vaesen, which is a Nordic horror setting at the cusp of the Industrial Revolution, and that's what I'm in, and a variety of other things. So if that sounds interesting to you, go on over to D&D Jordan Lee's channel this coming weekend for the charity event. And unless there's anything else, I want to give a shout out to, of course, the most sultry voice of God in all of Dustfall, the wonderful producer, aka Ashenworks.
If it didn't mess up the overlay, I would fucking yeet you from this call.
And there is that voice, and that is our time to outro ourselves, unless producer, anything else?
No, charity event starts Thursday evening, runs through to Sunday. Adding on, specifically, Cole and I are in the Friday noon game. This is all in Eastern time. And then the Blades in the Dark game is at 8 p.m. that evening. And then the Vaesen game is Saturday at 4, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's the one I'm in.
Yes.
But it's gonna be about a month until next time, y'all. But until next time, our grand, glorious, and burning finale of Season 1 of Fire in the Dark. See you later, scoundrels.